Oops.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Dorr, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, coming to you from Chicago. And my equal host, Arthur, Ease Your Mind. I am so happy tonight. At the last minute, I called these wonderful folks and asked them to join us. But I do want to say something. You know, when I went and voted this morning, I took the day off because I had some vertigo. But anyway, there were some first-time voters there. When they would announce first-time voter, and everybody would give a round of applause. We have a first-time voter, Aiden. So everybody give Aiden an applause. Yay!
Yes, it's my first time voting this election. Let me tell you guys what happened. So, I went down. I live in Texas, by the way, which is a really, really red state. Hopefully, it flips a little bit tonight. I don't know. But I went to the voting poll. Everybody was so nice there. Of course, people were wearing their colors, their red, white, and blue. You know, so I had to keep an eye out for any reds out there. But yeah, it was so much fun. I got like a big strip of paper, went to the machine, put it in, went blew down the ballot, pulled it out, and then I was gonna have my voting sticker with me. So it was amazing.
Okay, yay, you go. I wore blue. I see Sherry's got on some red, and
mine is pink and maroon. It's not red.
Oh, all right, that's close enough. But I want
My blue shirt was dirty.
I want to thank everybody, Arthur, Sherry, Deanne, Aiden. Thank you all so much for doing this. We're here for another election night.
Yay! Yeah.
And I remember the last election. I was talking to Linda Grindle, and you know Trump was ahead, and I saw this James is a cargo. I can't pronounce his last name, Cahill or whatever. He's that Southern gentleman who talks like this, and he's
the Raging Cajun.
Yes, and I'll never forget what he said. Put your razor blades back up on the shelf. Put the volume on the shelf. You know it's not over. So you know I'm kind of freaking out because I'm looking at Georgia, and it looks right now Trump's ahead, but all the votes aren't in yet.
No.
So I'm watching Wikipedia. I think you guys are watching Brian Tyler Cohen.
I'm watching Midas Touch.
Right, Midas Touch. So let's just take it round robin. So Sherry, who do you think is going to take Georgia?
Just Georgia?
And just well, other states. Because if Trump takes Georgia, then
Georgia is going to be really, really close just because it's a southern state and just because they still have a lot of funny practices, shall we say, going on there. Some of it has been cleared up, but of course, the guy that was in charge of those funny practices has still been the governor for the last 8 years. So
now Biden took Georgia in 2020
by 0.2 of a point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, Aiden. So, what do you think about Georgia?
I'm right there with Sherry. I think it's going to be Georgia's going to be a very close election. I've been watching all the news and seeing all the polls, and I think definitely I definitely agree with you guys. I think Kamala's going to win, and but I do see Georgia being very close. I think that I do see it like I got like 51 or 52%. So I think it's going to be like right in the middle. But we'll see what happens tonight. I'm excited.
Deanne, what do you think about Georgia?
I feel like it's going to be real close, but I pulled some cards and I get, yes, there's going to be more people finding out the truth. There's going to be changes in Georgia. I got the Empress, which is the feminine card, lots of women voters, and confidence and progress. I think it's going to be close, but I think she's going to win there.
What do you think, Arthur?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be extremely close. I get her winning maybe by 0.3 of a point. And that's it. But she still wins.
It's going to be really, really super close. I agree.
I feel they're going to demand a recount in some counties.
Yes.
But do they have the results in from Atlanta yet? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they just finished voting. The polls close at 7.
Right. Right. So I don't know if they have like
And they're an hour ahead of us. They're Eastern time.
right. I don't know if they have the polls in from Atlanta or not. So
I haven't seen it up yet.
but if Trump wins by a narrow lead in Georgia, then Kamala has to take Pennsylvania. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Now, my next question is, what do you all think? And we'll go round robin again. I don't think we'll get the election results back tonight. I think it's going to take a while. What do you think, Sherry?
I think we might get some back tonight just because they have really shored up the voting and whatnot. They didn't like hold. You've got a few states that changed holding mail-in ballots and stuff to be counted after election day was over. And instead they changed it that they start counting them on election day. So for those states, and I can't for the life of me remember which ones they are, we might very well get some pretty secure results, tonight. I don't think it'll be early, but because California's 3 hours behind us, so they're gonna, or
It's
2
always
hours
early
behind
out
us.
here. Sorry.
Aiden, what do you think?
Well, I actually think that there's going to be about 5. I feel 5 states that Harris wins, that are a swing state, right? And there's going to be a lot of contestation. What's it called? Uproar, I guess. Yeah, about who won. Donald Trump's definitely going to claim that he won, but we all know that won't be true. And I just think that there's a lot. I think 5 states, 5 maybe 6 states that Harris will win, and it'll be in the. They'll have to do a lot of recounting. I think it's gonna take about a week. I think to we might know the results like tonight, but it might take a week to confirm those results.
What do you think, Deanne?
Well, I was using my pendulum, and I get kind of similar to what Aiden got, 5 or 6 states that we're going to know, but I think it's going to take about, when I asked about how many days before we know for sure, and I'm getting about 5 days. So I think that we'll be able to see that she's up, but I wouldn't put it past Trump to just go and say, count himself the winner early, like he did last time. And have to have a lot of questions about it.
What do you think, Arthur?
I feel we'll know something. No, I keep on getting around 3:30 a.m. Eastern time. They'll call it.
Really?
Don't know who it is. Yeah.
I
Then
hope
again,
so.
I mean, that's because what's going to happen is in certain states, it's like, okay, we have all these other votes to still come in, but the votes that are coming in are not going to add up to what Kamala has.
These states are going to win.
You know? So we'll see. But I'm saying I do feel, let's say by 4 a.m. Eastern time, that we will be happy.
I don't think we'll have the results tonight.
Well, I know it's like here in Louisiana, they can't even start counting the mail-in ballots until election day is over.
Right.
That's the law in my state.
Right.
So it's like I mailed my ballot in 3 weeks ago, and it's been sitting there cooling its heels to wait till the end of today before they're going to open up the envelope and count it.
Right.
Well,
So,
I mean, it doesn't take a psychic to figure out that Trump will win Louisiana. What do you think, Sherry?
oh no, it's going to go for Trump. God, I wish it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think if as many people show up to vote today as showed up for early voting and as mail-in ballots, I think we might see some changes especially in some of the more bluer areas, like around the New Orleans area, in some of the areas up in northern Louisiana, where you kind of get a waffling back and forth, which direction they're going to go in. But and it's going to be hard because you got a lot of very old school people down here who, because mama and daddy and grandma and grandpa and da 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 always voted this way, then that's the way they vote. They have
I
no
know.
clue who they're voting for or what. But that's
I'm from Kentucky. I get that.
yeah.
I just wanted to add one other thing about Atlanta.
Mhm.
They had bomb scares,
Yes.
so
Yes.
that it's been extended.
Yeah.
Let me get back to this. There's somebody asking a personal question. We're just here tonight to do political questions only. So personal questions, we'll do at a later time. But I'll go ahead and do this one. Rachel Cortez wants prayers for her boyfriend, Tim McClanahan. He's in the hospital with pancreatitis, and he was moved to ICU, and he's on a BiPAP machine. That's a machine that goes to your face to breathe. So she says, I'm just trying to bring as much healing, light, and love for him so his body can repair itself soon. It's hard to see him in pain, but we are still watching to see Kamala win. Well, here's somebody in ICU that's watching to see Kamala win. So, Rachel, we're all sending healing prayers to Tim. And I feel like he's going to pull through this. It's going to be a long road, but I see him getting a lot better.
And Jimmy Carter praying he makes it to get to see her win too.
Yes, let's pray for that. Well, he made it to vote.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to live to vote for Kamala, and he did. I don't think he's ready to cross over just yet.
No.
Well, I have two things I want to get into real quick. I just want to say hi to everybody that's watching. We have about 1,200 people watching.
Yes.
From all of our channels combined. So thank you all for being here and supporting your favorite YouTube psychics. We all appreciate it. And I also wanted to give an update. Let's give an update on what the election is saying right now. So right now there are 3 electoral votes for Kamala for president, and on the other side of that, 23 for Donald Trump. And I'm sure we're going to see some back and forth. And then in the Senate, the Democrats have 29 seats. And remember, you only need 40 to get a tie in the Senate. 50 to get a tie in the Senate. And the Republicans are at 40 right now. So Republicans need 11 more seats for majority, and the Democrats needed 22 more seats for majority. So we're going to be watching this throughout the night, and hopefully it all goes up in our favor. And the House right now we're seeing the same thing a little bit. The House has 7, and the Democrats have 7, Republicans have 18. So that's just a little update as of right now for you guys that are not watching on your phones or on the news right now, but that's where we are.
I feel like the Democrats, will take over the House again, and we'll keep the Senate, but it'll be very narrow. What do you all think?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree
That's what
too.
I got.
But I don't feel that it's going to be up to Tim Walz to vote to break any ties.
Okay.
Exactly.
I do want to bring up the Russia thing. I saw today, in addition to the bomb scares that Russia was behind, calling into Georgia polling stations and things like that, so they extended it. I see a time when we're going to pass legislation and put safeguards in place to keep China, Russia, Iran, and India out of our elections. Also, though, what I read is that Russia was putting incendiary devices, like bombs that cause fires, incendiary devices on cargo planes. I think one was in Germany and the other one was in Great Britain. There were fires there, and they were thinking, they had intelligence reports that they were going to do it on airplanes, cargo planes flying into the United States to blow up over U.S. territory, and maybe even some passenger planes.
Right.
So I guess my question is do you see Russia being able to carry this out? And what ramifications do you see? Well, if Trump wins, nothing's going to happen. I can tell you that right now. But what do you think that the U.S. will do to prevent Russia from doing this, from prevent Putin from doing this? Arthur, we'll start with you.
First of all, I don't see them fall. I feel they're like rattling sabers, trying to get everyone scared that they're going to do another 9/11 over the country. But I don't see them following through on it. I feel they're just trying to show, discourse. But I do get there are a lot of guardrails that we don't know about, that they're monitoring, they're seeing what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's something, I'm not laughing at it. I mean, it's still a threat, but I feel it's more like a psychological threat at this moment. That's why I'm reading it.
Yeah, I think one of the incendiary fires was in, let's see, let me look. Leipzig in Germany, and I think somewhere in England. So, okay, Deanne, what do you think about it?
I feel the same way. I think they're just threatening, trying to scare us. It's what they do. It's what they were threatening, to bomb these polling places, all this. And I do think that, we're not going to we've got enough people watching, after what happened on January 6th and all the threats, and we've known there was going to be threats. I think that they're being watched very closely, and I don't think anything's going to happen.
Okay, what do you think, Sherry?
Well, it's a known fact that Russia and several of the other countries would do anything to see the USA collapse.
Mm-hmm.
That's their wet dream. Pardon my language.
I like that.
But at the same time, I went ahead and threw some cards on the question. The first thing I pulled was temperance, which I think the United States, Biden, Harris, all those in charge now, I think they're going to show a little temperance in order to get more information over who maybe made calls, who put what where, who gave orders. I mean, they probably already know, but just to shore all of that up, because then I pull the Ace of Cups reversed. So that's actions being blocked. That's telling me right there we're already a step ahead of them. We're already blocking their actions. And then I pull the King of Wands reversed. That's the impulsiveness of them trying to pull these kind of moves. And it's not playing out because we are on guard. And from what I heard, with several of those that the pundits and stuff that talk, that that Biden has already laid out precautionary measures. Governors have called in National Guards, that kind of thing, to make sure that polling areas stay safe, that anything that those against us want to try to pull is going to kind of get nipped in the bud.
Good. Aiden, what do you think?
Well, let me just say, I think that we need to give the United States a lot more credit, especially on the conservative side, because there's so much that we don't know when it comes to what the government does. Because if we knew about it, then Russia would know about it, then the whole world would know about it. So we need to keep our hopes high, and I think that I don't see Russia really interfering. I think we learned a lot from the 2016 election, and there are safeguards put in place to make sure that never happens again. And I really do believe that we are seeing a new leaf of America turn over tonight, and I'm praying, I'm hoping that that leaf is Kamala Harris. And I also just wanted to say, everybody take a big breath, because I think all of us on the screen have said that we see Kamala winning, and I know a lot of you guys are probably, there's a lot of terms I can use, but the safest one I'm going to say is probably having a lot of anxiety about this election. But we're here to calm you down and hold your hand, and but yeah, that's what I see. I don't think Russia.
Well,
I think the United States is on top of it.
Well, back to the whole Russia thing about incendiary devices, like I said, in Leipzig and somewhere else, I forget where it was in England, but you know, the fact that Russia was behind calling it a bomb threat to a polling station in Georgia, so they are trying to interfere.
Yeah.
But you know, intuitively, psychically, I feel that Putin wants to weaken the United States and bring us to a civil war, or to have a lot of anarchy and chaos going on, so that we would collapse or be in a civil war. Then that would give him carte blanche to take over what he wanted to. I mean, I saw that BRIC conference, I think, or whatever it's called, was Britain. It was not Britain. I'm sorry. It was it's Russia, India, China, and some other country. Not Britain. I'm sorry. And Putin was calling for a new world order. I watched it on the BBC in Vienna, and it was frightening, to be honest with you. So, you know, if Trump wins, Putin's got nothing to worry about because Trump won't do anything. But if and I feel Kamala will win, but the bottom line is then he'll try all kinds of stuff, but he won't succeed. I agree with Aiden on that one. I think that we know a lot more than we're letting on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think even with that bomb threat, though, Putin's hope is that, you know, even though they extended the time, they had to close for a time and they extended the time to vote, maybe he's hoping that's going to put fear in people's hearts. So a lot of people will not come back or will go home and be fearful to go and vote. And I just feel too much is on the line. I feel like it's not going to work.
Thank you. Well, you know, Granny's nervous because she says, I'll put it back up, that she had to come someplace saying she was watching the election results on PBS, and they said there are already 2 states being called for Trump. That is correct. That's Kentucky and Indiana. But he won those states in 2020. So, you know.
They're Republican. There's no Kelsa Priest if they went blue, believe me.
But the funny part is Kentucky has a Republican governor. So I'm sorry.
Democratic governor.
Democratic governor.
I'm sorry. Kentucky has a Democratic governor. Smack me. But, you know,
he's been with the vapors all day.
But Granny B, it's like I'm going to quote James Carville again. Put your razor up on the shelf and your Valium back up there, because it's going to be a long election night.
And it'll probably be a week like it was last election. I mean, it was what, Saturday before we got the official, you know, winner. So I don't think it's going to be that long, but the possibility's there.
All I'm going to say is the bottom line. The last show I called Blue Wave, Red Wedding. Now, if you don't know what a red wedding is, think of Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Think of what? I'm sorry, Arthur?
Blue Wave, Red Wedding.
Red what?
Red Wedding.
Wedding.
In Games of Thrones, there's an episode called The Red Wedding, when there's a wedding and everyone's slaughtered and massacred.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. And
I just want to share. Somebody was writing about Kool-Aid in the. It's not the Kool-Aid.
Get ready to say, pull out your shirt, Arthur.
What's it say?
National Kool-Aid Detox Program.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm a senior program director.
I love it.
I have my Nothing Burger shirt from Chicago.
Well, I have that here too.
Aiden, by the way, is filmed our Chicago event. He's still editing it. So when he gets it ready, we'll put it up on all of our channels. I'm going to do mine for members only.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's turning out really well, and I'm so excited to see you, what you guys think about the event that Mel and Linda and Deanne and everyone that attended
it was
created.
Fun.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be more in the future. I was getting bored the other day, so I was playing around with different designs for like the brochure. We made a brochure this time for Chicago, and I was playing around with different designs for like different cities. So look out for announcements like that. You never know when Mel's going to drop something like that.
Yeah, right.
That in his teeth.
Kathy
Anyway.
Goodwin says there's crazy long voting lines in New Hampshire.
Yay.
Did you guys ever find out? I hadn't heard. You know those voting things, drop boxes they set on fire. Did those people did they lose their vote, or did they get a chance to go back there and vote again?
They were allowed to put in provisional ballots if they had put their ballot in one of those boxes and they hadn't heard yet if they're, because a lot of the ballots were saved, only a portion of them burned. And so they were allowed to put in a provisional ballot to replace whatever was in the drop box.
For people that are nervous, remember in 2020, in the early part of the evening, the same thing was going on, that, Donald Trump won some states. And actually, if you look at the states that he did win in 2020, like Kentucky and Indiana, Kamala did better than Biden did in those states. She did better in 2024 in those states than Biden did in 2020, percentage-wise. So I look at that as hopeful news.
Yeah.
Several of them, she did better by 5 to 8 points.
Correct.
Higher than what Biden got it, So, yeah, and again, there's a lot of states that don't count mail-in ballots until after the polls close.
And who made those rules? Who put that in? The Republicans.
Ever notice when Republicans win an election because of mail-in votes, they're all for it, but when they lose, they claim it's cheating and they don't want the mail-in ballots?
Yeah.
Right? Ever notice that? The double standard?
Yes. It's free and fair as long as I win.
Well, it's like last week before last, the local newspaper had an article, and I didn't recognize the name of the person that wrote the article, but they were all excited because, everyone was excited because of all the mail-in ballots that were coming in. It was far greater than they'd ever seen come in before. And they were doubly excited because they were able to look at the names and say, oh, that's a Republican. Oh, that's a Republican. And so there was like a majority of Republican ballots showing up. And as I was watching this news clip, in the back of my head, I heard, yeah, but they haven't opened them and looked at it yet. So I'm like, how many Republican ballots have showed up that haven't been counted yet that voted for Kamala Harris? Because there's a lot of Republicans
Yes.
that said they were voting for Kamala.
Deborah Webb says, yeah, I thought I had indigestion, but I think my stomach is tight and not fearing the wake-up news I got in 2016 with all of the Republicans switching over to Kamala. How could Trump pull it off? He hasn't pulled anything off yet.
No.
What surprised me, though, are the number of people that voted for him. I thought that we'd put aside this bigotry and racism and all of that. Mm-hmm. And, I noticed the comparative analysis in the campaigns. Kamala kept hers upbeat, and here's what we're going to do. And Trump resorted to, he did the same thing to Hillary. He did the same thing to Biden. She's evil. She's vile. She's this. She's that. Just calling her all kinds of horrible names.
Called her garbage.
And then J.D. Vance.
But it was us that. Thank you. But it's the Democrats that need to tone down the rhetoric.
Right? It's rules for thee and not for me,
Yes.
Correct.
I just let you know, I just got a text from a friend of mine in Kansas, and she said everyone that she saw, she knew were Republicans, were voting for Harris in Kansas.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm hearing a lot of people say that.
Look at his rallies. People are walking out. He had one rally. He made them wait for 3 hours. He had 3 different times. The buses took him there for the photo op, but nobody to take him back. They had to walk 2 miles. Some elderly people got put in the hospital. That would be enough for me not to vote for him, even if I was for him. Shows what he cares about you.
Aiden, how did it feel to vote for the first time?
Yeah.
No, it felt great. I felt maybe, there are some thoughts in my head that, I live in Texas. Maybe my vote doesn't really count or doesn't matter, things like that. But it definitely does. It does when you it matters your intentions. Your intentions really, really, really contribute to like the energy of the world and the way that the world works. But I just wanted to say something real quick. So we just got updated. It's now 35 to 95. These results are not final. They have to be certified and confirmed and everything. But I just looked at the map, and it says about 10% of Texas's votes are counted, and it's a very, very light blue so far.
Yes.
That might just be the counties that they've counted so far, but it's on the map. It's a light blue. So that could change. It probably will, but right now, whoever lives in those counties did a great job.
I want to say hi to a few people. Hi to Gloria, Jeanette, Lucy, Bonnie, Mike and Beverly, Aries Wanderer. Hi, Aries. She was at our
Oh yeah, wonderful.
our event. Bora Bora, Nancy D'Angelo, Debbie Smith, A.O., Swami Mommy and friends, Janet Jackson, Becky Gilberto. She says she's nervous. Okay, Becky, just think of one of our trips. Take a deep breath. Let that calm you down a bit. Connie, let's see. Rachel, we're sending prayers for her fiance, Tim. Susan, let's see. Granny, Veronica. Let's take another look here. SCR, Dakar Brown, Attorney Gaddy. I'm trying to see here. Debbie Smith, Christine Thomas, Peggy, Mary Epperson. Am I missing anybody here? I want to say hi to Paul Jads, I think. Carol, Amy. I just want to kind of go down the line. Monica.
You sound like a substitute teacher taking roll call.
Mimi Rose is here.
Hi, Mimi. Yeah, if you all see anybody in the chat, it's hard for me to keep up with it all. Just shout out a hi.
Yeah,
So,
VA Haven, Bora Bora, Colorful Foresight. There's a bunch of people here that. Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard, AP News just called Trump for president in Florida. So they're saying that he's won Florida and it's 30 electoral votes. And also they're saying Rick Scott has won his Senate race in Florida.
I figured he would. Linda and I had predicted that one. Arthur, I think you did too. Aiden, could you look up and see how many percentage points did Kamala have in Florida and Trump have in Florida this election, and then look back in 2020 and see what percentage he won Florida by in 2020 as compared to Biden?
Okay, I will get onto that right now.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So what I'm wanting to do is ease people's minds, because even though Kamala's losing some of those states, she's still up in percentage points. Of course, that doesn't put her in the White House, but
we haven't gotten to California and a lot of blue states.
We haven't gotten to Illinois. The polls here are closed.
And
here
a
in
lot of these states that they're calling, their mail-in ballots and stuff haven't been counted yet.
Yes.
Here in Illinois, the polls just closed 8 minutes ago. And it doesn't take a psychic to tell you, but Illinois is going to go blue. That can take to the bank. How do you all think Ohio will do?
Borderline.
Yeah, it's another one right on the border.
Who took Ohio in 2020? Anybody know?
I think Trump.
Trump, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Misa
Well, Peggy is saying red mirage comes first, then the blue tsunami.
Okay, Mel, I have your answer for you.
Okay, go ahead.
And thank you all for being here. We have 1,500 now, so we're so
Wow.
excited you're here with us. So Mel asked, what were the percentages in the 2020 election between Trump and Biden? So Trump won Florida with 51.2% of the vote. And then Biden slightly lost with 47.9%.
was in 2020, right?
That was in 2020. But right now, as the count stands in Florida, it's about 87% counted. I don't know if that includes mail-in ballots, but it's saying that Trump is winning right now with 56% and Harris with 43%.
So that means she was down in Florida.
Yes. So as of right now, it looks like it was closer in Florida back in 2020, but we still have a lot more votes to count.
Correct. It could. Well, why are they calling it? Because there's 83% in, right?
Yeah.
Well, she could still do a lot better in Florida. She won't win, but she could still do a lot better. All right. And there was another state we asked about. Which one was that one, Aiden?
Oh, you asked about
Iowa.
Ohio or Ohio or yeah.
Ohio.
Let's see. Ohio in 2020.
Misa says, "Where's Linda G?" We invited Linda to come on tonight, but I think she's just kind of staying home watching the election results.
So in Ohio in 2020, it was won by Donald Trump with 53% of the vote went to Donald Trump. And then Joe Biden got 45%. So we can compare this when we get the final results in and see where we need to do better next time or we need to, work.
Here again, it's those percentages are they're important, like you said, Aiden, because we can do better next time around. But I just wanted to touch on some of those to ease people's minds, but not all the votes are in Florida. So even 56 to 43% is not accurate right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
The countdown, not all the votes are in.
And also, Pennsylvania's not in yet. Michigan is not in yet. Wisconsin's not in yet. So those are all big states in play.
Aiden, good job, Liz Ann said.
Yes.
Thank you, Lizanne, and everybody else that are sending the nice comments towards me. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you.
Okay,
You're like a teacher's assistant.
Congratulations to all of you in the U.S. A bunch of us in High River, Alberta, Canada, pulling for a blue wave. That's Dawn Turner. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few more updates. So Andy Kim, who's a Democrat, won the Senate in New Jersey.
Yay.
Lisa Blunt Rochester won the Senate in Delaware.
Is she a Democrat?
Yeah, she's a Democrat.
Good.
Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, has won her Senate race in Massachusetts.
Yes, I love her.
Let's see. Kamala Harris has won Connecticut, and it's 7 electoral votes. Sheldon Whitehouse, who's a Democrat, has won the Senate race in Rhode Island. And Chris Murphy, who's a Democrat, has won his Senate race in Connecticut.
Wow. My take is that Kamala will win the Eastern Seaboard states pretty much, except maybe for the Carolinas. But the psychic dummy, I love it. Hello, my peoples, Alex. It says.
I remember her. Wasn't she? She was at the Chicago event, I believe. She brought her the dummy in and had a picture taken of me.
Right. Oh my goodness, that was so cool. She brought her little friend, and she even let me play with him and show me how you pull the little strings inside. She's an excellent ventriloquist. Couldn't even see her lips move. Mine, I'm going like this. Hello. It was so.
And it's not only not showing your lips moving, but it's changing your voice when you talk. I mean, anybody watches Jeff.
When everyone was wearing masks, I was a really good ventriloquist.
Huh?
When everyone was wearing their masks during COVID, I was a really good ventriloquist.
Yeah, but you see the mates move up and down.
No, you're looking at the dummy.
Thanks for pointing that out, Deanne. Deanne, by the way, the prayer that you did today was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm not used to praying out loud, but I felt like this needed it. This is a time that I felt like I needed to pray.
I'm not comfortable praying out loud in front of other people.
Can anybody Google James Carville and see what he's saying about all this?
Sure.
Yeah.
He comes up.
I also wanted to touch on. Sorry, Arthur. You can go.
I was going to send somebody saying that Colin Allred is beating Cruz at the moment.
Yes.
Who beating who? I'm sorry.
Colin Allred is beating Ted Cruz at the moment.
Yay.
Someone said Aiden is better than Steve Kornacki. I don't know who that is, but I appreciate it.
MSNBC.
Steve Kornacki is the guy on MSNBC who does all the election stuff.
We're the
Oh,
khaki
okay. Well,
pants.
thank you. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I also wanted to bring up something. You know, I talked to a lot of people today, my age, about 20, 21, that are voting for the first time in the election. And it was a mixed table. There were some Democrats from California, actually Republicans from California, and we were all talking about, you know, the issues that we're voting on. And my friend, she's a Democrat, and one of her big issues is women's reproductive rights. So let me just say that, you know, I go to a very, very, very conservative school. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was just up to my school, it'd be 80% for Donald Trump. But I actually would say it's half and half, which is a really, really good number, especially at my school. Like that's amazing because there's a lot of, you know, conservative men, you know, think of like Joe Rogan type here. So, um, but I mean, I think we're really finding our voice, especially people my age, Gen Z, and I just think if we lead with this ambition to the future, then you know we're going to be changing the world.
Yes.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
big screw up came when they took away rights. When you strip one demographic of one of their rights, that's going to, whether if you believe in getting an abortion or not,
Right.
just the fact that they went in and they stripped that right away from women and said, no, you're not allowed to make your own health decisions about your own body. And then now we've been hearing horror story after
Yeah.
horror story of these young women who have miscarriages, who either become sterile and can never have children again, or they die from sepsis because they can't get the proper health care because the doctors are terrified to do anything for fear of being put in jail for doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, in my mind, their families, if you know your wife or your daughter or your sister, whatever, dies from something like that because they could not get the health care they needed, the family needs to sue for murder charges every politician that signed off on that, because that's basically what they've done.
Well, I think a lot of people that, I'll say Republicans or MAGAs, we'll call them MAGAs, they should actually be held charges for practicing medicine without a license.
Yep, that
Mhm.
too.
But none of that's going to happen.
I know, but
I
No.
think what it is going to do at some point is going to cause a different SCOTUS to uphold Roe v. Wade.
yes,
Roe v. Wade. And, you know, the women, I had predicted that the women would bring Donald Trump down. And I still hold to that.
yeah.
And, I hope that it's the women that will, and the minorities that will put Kamala in office. Rio Grande Mom says only 9% of the vote in Georgia. So these early polls, you know, let's just.
Yeah, a lot of your TV stations and whatnot, you know, they start calling it long before it's really ready to be called yet, because they're just trying to beat the next station from beating them to the punch, you know. And I prefer to wait until, you know, we get all of the results in. I mean, I realize it would be late into the night, but still, it's and it makes you feel good when you start seeing people you want to win, you know. But at the same time, don't don't get all down in the dumps because your person doesn't seem to be winning right now, because they may not have counted all the votes yet. So
Dana June is from Canada. She says, so happy to see Deanne and lots of love to you guys. Dana June is a real treat. Hi, Dana. She was at our Chicago. Sherry, you hit on something I want to touch on very briefly, being originally from the South. When I hear you talk, my accent comes back a little bit. But a lot of people down there vote because it's the way their parents voted, the way their grandparents voted, the way everybody voted. And it's just a way of life. You don't question it. You just do it.
Mhm.
right.
And so
It doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter what religion you follow. It's it's
It's
just this
tribal.
mindset.
It's kind of
Yeah.
tribal.
Yes.
Very much so.
Part of your tribe.
And, you know, I had a psychic hit this morning that we'd be having this conversation tonight about people worried about Donald Trump because there, you know, some states that came in early, you know, I knew he'd win. And I had this playback of 2020 going on in my head when I was talking to Linda Grindle election night. So here, I see Deanne working her pendulum, so we're going to ask her in a second what her pendulum is showing. But Mulberry Smile says, my husband is trying to trigger me with negativity. Here for some light. Well, there are a lot of people out there that try to trigger us with negativity, but myself included, I'm anxious about this election. We all are. We all are. There's so much at stake. But we just
Mulberry Smile, sprinkle him with some vinegar and tell him to be gone. The devil inside, be gone.
and no matter what happens in this election, even if we lose, and I don't think we will, but even if we do, that should get behind us and push us forward to fight even harder the next time.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
But I
biggest
was
screw up
sure.
was when they stripped away rights from women. They woke up a beast that I don't think they've begun to realize the depth of that yet. Because you have women that are now voting for something that 2 days before the Supreme Court did that, were dead set against abortion and very pro-life and, you know, and all this and that and the other. But when they took that right away, it flipped a switch in a lot of women's minds going, whoa, wait a minute.
But
That's
not
my
only in
right.
women's minds, but in a lot of other people's minds too.
A
Thinking
lot of
if
men's minds
away-
too. Yeah.
they can take away that right, what about the other rights that are on the line?
Yeah.
Sandy Johnson says they said on MT. What is MT? I don't know what that is.
Midas touch.
Oh, they said on MT, Georgia announced they were throwing out early ballots. I didn't hear that. Did anybody hear that?
No, I don't know.
There's a lot of stuff that Donald Trump has been putting out that, oh, there was problems at this poll and oh, they were throwing away ballots at that. They actually, in one of the more red states, had the very, very Republican head of their law enforcement in that state had to come out and make a statement and say, none of that is happening here. And if he has any information that that's happening anywhere in this state, then he needs to come forward immediately with that evidence so we can look into it. Crickets. No one's heard anything.
So Sherry, thanks for clearing that up. Lynn Schultheis says, I'm so glad to see you all. We voted last Saturday in rural New York. This is Trump country, and I'm going between panic and euphoria. Well, let's hold on to the euphoria.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
ENC says we're sending lots of good energy to John Tester.
Yep.
Here, thank God you're here. Sobel, I like that. Sobel Promotions. Sobel
Yeah,
Promotions.
they got blood on their hands for what they've done. The Republicans. They just opt out.
Deanne, I saw you doing your pendulum. What were you divining with that, darling?
Well, there was a subscriber of yours that asked, is Donald Trump going to cheat? Will there be cheating? And how is that going to work out? Are they going to be punished? What's going to happen? And I get the 5 of Swords. Yes, there is going to be arguments. There's going to be cheating. There's going to be deception. There is going to be there is going to be them trying to do that. This shows is somebody who's devious. But I got the 2, what will happen? I got the 10 of Cups, that everything is going to turn out our way. And I got the Empress, which I'm thinking the female power, the women power. And I did get, yes, they are going to get caught and they are going to get in trouble for it. But there will be certain people that work in the polls or different ones that are going to try some stuff for Trump, but they're not going to get away with it. And they're going to be sorry they did it.
Aiden, can you check and see what Georgia's doing? Because Judy Peterson says Trump has been projected winner of Georgia.
Yeah, let me just check. So I've got a few updates for you since I last gave you
While you're
updates.
doing that, Mimi Rose. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Mel, Deanna, and everyone. I don't see how this race can be so close.
I
Me
know.
either. Me
I
either.
know.
But it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Maryland has selected Kamala Harris. Massachusetts, Kamala Harris has won Massachusetts. Of course, Donald Trump has won Oklahoma. Kamala Harris has won Rhode Island. Donald Trump has won South Carolina, and Donald Trump has won Tennessee.
Well, he won those in 2020.
Yes. So those are not far out. Those aren't really surprises, right? So if we look at Georgia, we still have ballots being counted in Atlanta because, as we mentioned earlier, the time to vote was extended, right? So we don't have all those votes yet. And of course, it looks like it's almost halfway through with counting all the ballots in Georgia. Right now, it's leaning a little bit more towards Trump in Georgia for the presidential race. And
I mean, it's like Arthur said, Biden just won by a narrow margin in Georgia, 11,000 some odd votes in 2020.
2/10 of a point.
Good news is they're still counting Atlanta, and Atlanta is largely blue.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like they may win it. They may win it by a hair, but I'm thinking that she may win it. I'm getting that she'll win it once Atlanta comes in.
Aiden, how much is Trump leading in Georgia right now? Does it say?
So right now it's 47% reported, but it says that Trump has 55% of the votes so far, and Harris has 44%. But only about 2.5 million votes have been counted. So we're only halfway through with Georgia, and it looks like they primarily really counted the red counties in Georgia. So there's a lot more.
Still win.
Yeah, a lot more blue to come up with that 50% more votes left.
So
I think Atlanta.
Yes, I think Atlanta will be a decisive vote.
Yes.
So now Trump won North Carolina, did you say, Aiden?
Up your mute.
You're muted, Aiden.
Okay, great. Thank you for telling me. Let me check real quick. You said North Carolina?
Yep.
It actually looks like Kamala's in the lead, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Liz Ann says, what do you see in North Carolina? So
That's it.
Yeah, right now it's about 11% reported, so that's barely any votes reported. But it says that Harris right now is 51%, Trump is 47%. But
okay,
I think we really have to ground ourselves and just, sometimes it's better to go to sleep and wake up in the morning and see, what happens if you're really stressed out.
so
I mean, it's like I remember in 2016 when it got called, and I went to bed and I was literally in bed ill for almost a week afterwards. It made me so sick.
I heard Laura.
And then 2020, he's out there saying, "Oh yes, well I won," and blah blah blah. And I got that initial kind of gut punch, and then I thought, no, that's no.
Well,
and I went to bed.
In 2020, we didn't have the results back for like 3 or 4 weeks. But Maureen D'Amico says Kamala will win Pennsylvania. Good.
I agree.
Are the polls? What is the race looking like in Pennsylvania, Aiden?
Okay, let me check.
I think we could do this all night, you all.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so professional, guys. Let me get where's my board of states? I need to get one of those.
I know.
Well,
you need a whiteboard. Yeah.
This is a part of our mission. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
It took weeks for the 2020 to get the results back from that.
Okay, I have your answers, but Pennsylvania is only 8% reported. So this could change drastically or it could stay the same. But right now, good news, Harris is in the lead with 72% of the vote in Pennsylvania. That's like a big chunk, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Senate. The Senate in Pennsylvania is the same thing. Casey with 71%. It looks like the Dems are in favor in Pennsylvania, but keep in mind we only have 9% of the votes counted in Pennsylvania. But I have crossed my fingers and we're hoping for a good outcome there.
I just want to comment on what Misa said, counting on all of y'all to be right. You know, I have to say that we're human too, and nothing is 100%. And somebody said, why do guides lie? Our guides don't lie. It's sometimes what happens is, our guides give us free choice. And a lot of times we're reading on the energies of what's going on. So, um, even if we're wrong, doesn't make us bad or inaccurate or phony intuitives. So there's so many variables that can take place. And so, when Biden stepped down, I got that whole week of being beat up to the point that I was even thinking of giving up my YouTube channel. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do that because there are too many people out there that we can help. So, I just have to say that we can be wrong, but that doesn't, just because we're psychic doesn't make us infallible. But just because we miss something also doesn't mean we need to get beat up. So, do any of y'all want to comment on that?
Yes.
You go ahead.
This is why we say first, entertainment purposes only.
I got a T-shirt from you, Arthur.
I know. Yeah. And also, in the meantime, the most important thing is, as psychics, we see what we see. Now, many of us were saying that we did not see Biden finishing his second term and handing the baton to Kamala Harris. He still handed the baton to Kamala Harris. The timing was maybe a little off. The circumstances were a little off. But the bottom line is he handed the baton to Kamala Harris. Period.
Yes.
When I told my friends in 2016 that Hillary was not going to get in, they would not talk to me. And then when Trump got in, they still wouldn't talk to me. They're still mad. But the thing is, that was a lot of people being complacent back then. The people are not complacent at all in this election. Everyone is voting as if this is their life depends on it.
Well, it does, really.
It does. And I still feel, I'm sorry, I'm still seeing blue wave. So.
Me too. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm still seeing a blue wave.
The thing is like when I did one prediction about Ted Cruz, I said, well, if Ted Cruz does get in, it's black money shenanigans. They find out, they kick him out. In other words, and then people are saying, what about Marjorie Taylor Greene? I said, she might win, but that doesn't mean she's going to stay because there's indictments with her name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, what do you think on that?
Well, I was going to say that I predicted, and so did a lot of us predict, that Kamala was going to take over and be the first woman president. We had almost all gotten that. The timing we got wrong because Biden was saying, even unless God himself tells me to step down, I'm not stepping down. And he was adamant about that. So we're taking him at his word that, he says for sure, unless God tells me, I'm not stepping down. So we thought, okay, well, maybe Kamala, once he gets in, we're feeling it, but we're feeling maybe once he gets in, then his health reasons or whatever, he'll step down and she'll take over. But he stepped down sooner. It's hard to do timing. It's really hard to do timing.
Yeah.
But everybody has been saying for a year that a woman was going to take Trump down. And here we are. And a woman is going to take Trump down. I believe it.
I've been saying that for 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, have you?
Yes.
When Trump got in, I said, when Biden won, even when Trump was president, with that whole thing with Stormy Daniels and all of that, I said, a woman and women will bring him down. And here we are.
I thought it would be Ivanka at first. I thought because who could hurt him? It said it hurt him. Yeah. And I was like Linda. I thought, well, who could hurt him as bad as his daughter, his favorite daughter? But now, I'm thinking he's misogynistic and seems to be a racist. So, I mean, for a black woman to beat him, that's going to kill him.
And they're in this twist and turn of the way we see things, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was just 2-3 days ago that Trump live on air with Fox complaining as normal. and proceeded to make the statement that, well, women weren't human anyway. So if our feelings get hurt, our rights are taken away, we're not human anyway. So what difference does that make?
So,
I'm
Aiden,
like,
what do you think on counting when sometimes we miss as psychics? What is your take on that?
Well, I have a few things. I've been racking up things to talk about. But yeah, I think that I've talked to a lot of people, and I think Linda says this too. She says, no, nobody's 100% right. We're like a telephone to the other side. We can hear these things, right? We can hear things from our guides. But sometimes, just like when you call on the phone, sometimes there's so things get lost in translation. So that's why people say we're all of us are not 100% accurate. Things can get lost in translation. Also, to the point of women, of course, women are amazing, so strong, and I think the polls we've seen, I think they're definitely undercounting the power of women and how many women are going to the polls and things like that. And that's why we've seen some really wonky polls. Another thing I wanted to bring up, which is kind of off topic, but it's so about women. It's kind of crazy to me that a lot of the women presidential candidates we call by their first names, Hillary, Kamala, but we look at all these other men that have been president. We've all called them by their last names: Obama, Clinton, Bush, Trump, Biden. So I think it's really, really important. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to call her Madam President. I'm not going to say Kamala. I'm going to keep on saying Madam President because I think it's important to establish respect. Because when we call a
Right.
woman, especially by their first name, it's important. Like when you're a kid and you go around, you don't call teachers by their first name. You call them Mrs. Blah, blah, blah. So I think it's important for us as a nation to start calling her Madam President or Harris, just like we do the men.
You know what? That's a brilliant observation. I really hadn't noticed that. Sherry, what do you think about that whole idea?
I was just going to say, it reminds me of back in 2008 when Obama won his first election as president. And on CNN, it was their normal panel, and they're all this and that and the other. And at one point, Don Lemon spoke up. He says, you know what? He is now the president-elect. He's Mr. President, or he's President Obama. He's not Barack, and he's not just Obama. And at that point forward, he always referred to him as either President Obama or the president. He no longer just called him by his name. But I remember seeing that and thinking, I didn't even notice that people would do that, because they were saying it in a way to make it sound derogatory, But he was bringing up the point of, okay, the man has won. He is now the president-elect. We need to address him as such. He's no longer on a first-name basis with us. I mean, we don't walk around and call President Biden Joe. Hey, Joe, what's up, Joe? I mean, I guess some people do, but generally, no,
And what do you think, Sherry, about what I was saying about like some people, like when we missed on a few predictions, we really got beat up. I mean, everybody's, how do you?
Well, and the thing of it is I don't think most people realize how much we beat up ourselves. I think most of us were more upset with ourselves, thinking, how did I read that so wrong?
That's an excellent point.
Why was I so sure that this is what I was understanding Spirit telling me? And then that happened. And it was like, and it took me a little while to kind of come to terms with it, to realize, okay, Spirit. And this was true. I went back and rewatched a lot of people that, were predicting. And a lot of times, we were constantly saying, no, the Democrats are going to win. No, the Democrats are going to win. We were saying that more than we were saying Biden is going to win. We were saying the Democrats are going to win. And so that's when it hit me. Okay, we were saying exactly what we were seeing. We just put our own filter over it by sticking his name on there. I mean, yeah, there were times when we specifically said a name, But a lot of times, and with a lot of us, and I went back and rewatched just to see if I was remembering correctly, we were saying the Democrats are going to win, or the left's going to win, and more generalized statements. And everybody was using their filter of putting Biden's name, fill in the blank, instead of realizing that we were seeing it in generalities and just adding our own filter. And that's part of the danger of part of the issues you can have being a psychic.
You know what,
is we tend to put our own filter over something.
Good point. Excellent point. Katie and Proud says, keep sending love and calming, positive white light to everyone. She says, especially election workers and law enforcement, and to the guides to use for the good of the world. I do want to thank our election workers, both Republican and Democrat. When I voted, they give you these sample ballots, and this lady handed me one. I didn't really look at it, and somebody else handed me one. And the one she gave me, it said, Republican. And I walked back and handed it to her. I said, I'm not a Republican, but, maybe you can give this to somebody else. And she said, thank you so much. She was so polite. And, there's a lot of good Republicans out there. There's a lot of good Democrats out there. Unfortunately, there's some rotten ones from both sides. Even now, MAGAs I do not support whatsoever.
No.
But I'm sure there's some, but the bottom line is thank you so much to our election workers, because here in the Chicago area, they really made the voting experience pleasant. I felt like I was at a pep rally. Yeah. It was really cool. Arthur, you touched on something I want to touch on. I remember, when I voted for Clinton both times, all the politicians and the media was talking about voter apathy. Mm-hmm. Our votes don't count. We're not going to vote. Well, boy, there's one thing I can say, that if there's anything good that Trump has done, and I can't really say anything good that he's done, but it did put it into voter apathy, didn't it? We all got out and voted because we didn't want him as president.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a few more updates for you guys.
Yes,
just,
sir.
keep everybody's fears down. We've got some good news. So I'm looking at the graph from AP News, and Kamala, or should I say Madam President, well, not yet, kind of, but Vice President, was just at 50 electoral votes, but now it's been bumped up to 71. And it's because she has won New Jersey. She has won Delaware. And also Matt Meyer, who's a Democrat, just won governorship in Delaware. And then Illinois just called Kamala the winner.
Yes.
Yay,
So
Illinois.
Mel State. Congratulations, Mel.
I'm
Also,
crying.
I wanted to point out that we mentioned this earlier that, let's see, Lisa Blunt Rochester from Delaware in the Senate, she won. She's a Democrat, and she's going to be the first woman and the first Black person to represent Delaware in the U.S. Senate. So not just the first woman. Yeah. So those are your updates.
So how many electoral points does Kamala have electorally, and how many does Trump have right now?
So right now it's 71 Harris, 101 Trump.
But that's because of what states has
Florida. Florida's got, what is it, 20 something?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It looks like,
Florida's a big one.
A lot of the Republican states, the red states, have already called it just because, their voting closed a few hours ago. But yeah, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana. Look at me just reading all the states without the names. I'm just so smart. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I still have faith. Still, there's been no big surprises yet, really. So
this is reminiscent of 2020. It really is.
Yeah.
With the exception of Georgia. But we don't know how that's going to go yet.
Georgia's still they still got polls open.
Okay.
in some areas.
So Rose Blue wants to know, she says, Aiden, do you know how many voting election precincts in Texas? I only have a phone. I tried. If I have the number, I can do the math. Cruz has to pay dollars for Senate recount or something.
Yeah, if they demand a recount, that candidate has to pay for that recount.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Christian Martinez gives some happy news. He says Harris will win Arizona because Trump talked trash about McCain, and many veterans who reside in Arizona got mad. Native American Indians are voting for Harris. Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot of people know. I lived in Arizona for 10 years. John McCain was just this side of being considered a saint like Mother Teresa. He was the golden child, so to speak. And it was because of what, rightfully so, what he went through as a prisoner of war. And the lack of respect that Trump always showed him, and some of the really horrible things he said about John McCain, really turned a lot of Arizonians off of Trump, because that was the same as besmirching the name of Jesus in their minds. That's kind of the level that John McCain was at, and still is in a lot of respects in Arizona. He was very, very, very highly thought of. And even though he was a Republican, he was a good man, and he did a lot of good stuff for the state. I mean, hell, when in 2008, I was voting for him up until he chose Palin to be his vice president. I was like, nope, not happening. So,
I can see Russia from here, and she thought Africa. She thought, what is she didn't know Africa was a continent. She was like crazy.
Did you see Kamala on SNL?
Yes, I did. It was so
She
cool.
did so good.
The psychic dummy says Harris will take Georgia. Cristobal is always right. Alex. Thank you, Alex. Okay. I like this one. Sharon Donnelly. Hi, Sharon. Remember, as a collective, we've been manifesting Madam President for a while now. We are all winners.
Yes.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes, exactly.
I think we're going to have a lot of tears of joy, and especially us women, because this is going to be something special that we can tell our daughters and our granddaughters that they can become president someday, that it's not just, it's only been men. Never has a woman done this. And I am going to be so proud of her and happy when she wins. I know I'm going to be bawling.
When I was a little boy, I said to my grandmother, she said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, in my little boy Southern accent, I want to be president. And my grandma said, boy, you have to have 3 heads on your shoulder to be president. And I looked at her, I said, well, I only got 1. So that means I can't be president.
It makes me think, Deanne, from what you were just saying, it reminds me of that picture, that first year of Obama in office.
Yes.
Of the little boy that, the family had come in, whoever was the man worked for him and was resigning or taking another post. And the family came in, and so Obama was meeting the family, and the little boy, like 5 or 6 years old, asked if he could touch his hair, because he wanted to make sure for himself that his hair, he was just like him, that this was the same kind of person. And Obama just bent right over, to let him touch his hair. And the photographer was just brilliant in the fact that he got the snap. He got that shot perfectly.
Yeah.
That picture spoke volumes across the world.
Could you imagine if somebody asked Trump that?
Oh, please.
He'll be like, oh, what is this thing on my hand?
No, that would be
other countries are rooting for us too. Germany, all over. I think there's going to be dancing in the streets
all
again.
over Europe. I was in Slovakia and they were nervous about Trump winning. I got to say hi to my friends in Slovakia. Hi to Alfie in the UK, my friends there. I think people all over the world are nervous, because this election impacts them too. Teacher Barbara says ABC News is sending me into a panic.
Then turn it off.
Barbara, then change the channel, girlfriend.
Then
Turn
prayers
the
and
news
money.
off. Turn it off.
Sacred Hog says, yes, love you, Arthur.
Oh,
Here. Now, this was as of 6:43. North Carolina currently 68% Kamala and 30% Trump. But that was at 6:43. It's now 7:49 here in Chicago. So, okay. Kathy Reagan's, this is a good question. I'll go around robin on this one. Do you all see court challenges regarding the election results? I'll start with it. If Kamala wins, I'm sorry, Madam President, if Harris wins, Aiden, correct me on that one. Yes, Trump will take it to court, like he always does, litigate, but he'll continue to lose those litigations. Okay, Sherry, what do you think about it?
Well, my pendulum says yes. He's definitely going to bring, he's already been bringing stuff to court for the past week, and they've been throwing it back out at him, saying the election hasn't happened yet. Okay. You can't file this before the election occurs. So, yeah, he's going to use every dirty trick in the book.
Aiden, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry, Sherry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just, yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yes.
Sheila just commented that she thinks they're calling it too soon because we already know that that's Trump's plan to call it early and stop the count. And yeah, as we talked before, there's still a lot of mail-in ballots. It's probably, I don't know the data, but I'm guessing it's probably the most mail-in ballots we've seen in a presidential election. I would assume so, right? Because it seems like everybody my age got got a ballot and never voted before that way. So I hope we see some new records breaking.
But even if they call the election, that's just the networks doing that in the state. It doesn't mean that they stop counting the ballots. They still continue to count.
Right. They have to finish counting all the ballots. The
looks
only
like
time
Josh,
they ever.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Sorry, Aiden. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Aiden.
It looks like Josh Stein just won the governor's race in North Carolina.
Is he Democrat?
He's Democrat, yes.
And that means North Carolina will go to Kamala.
Yay.
Yep.
Sorry for interrupting.
I'm sorry, Harris.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sherry, go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying. It'll come back to me and I'll say it then.
Okay, Arthur, what do you think? The court challenges regarding the election results?
There'll be court challenges, yes. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. Doesn't mean you can file anything in court, but that doesn't mean they can get tossed out of court.
What do you think?
Oh, I just want to add one more other thing, though.
Okay.
You realize that Trump was served today.
With what?
Was he?
For the defamation case with the 5 guys in New York.
Oh, that's right. They filed a lawsuit against him.
What was that case? Wait, what was that case about, Arthur?
Central Park, right?
Central Park 5. When there were 5 boys accused of raping a woman in Central Park. They beat them into submission, so they said they did it. Then they found out they did not. But Trump had put out a full-page ad to bring back the execution of these 5 boys, and he's never apologized that they all were acquitted. And
he still insists that they should be punished.
DNA proved it wasn't them.
No, they got the guy that did it, but I'm just saying that he was actually served today, and I thought that was
good.
I'm sure they waited. I'm sure that was planned.
Well, no, they had to go to court first, and then he got served. So it wasn't. It was actually just on the calendar. It just happened to fall on that day. They didn't wait for it to be today.
Okay.
Anyway, there you go.
Deanne, what do you think? Court challenge?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's going to take it to court. He sues on everything. He's been threatening to do it the whole time before it has even been counted. He wanted the count to end at 9 p.m., which means he didn't want mail-ins to be counted at all. So, yeah, he's going to fight it. He's going to take it to court. He's going to lose. They already knew what he did from 2020, and, yeah, it's not going to work. And by January, she'll be the new president. Will be
And I remember what I was going to say now. The only time they've ever stopped counting the votes was back when it got called for Bush,
In
when the
Florida.
Supreme Court stepped in Florida
Mhm.
and said, stop counting the votes, even though they were still, when they finished counting, it was, what was his name that won actually and would have been president?
Al Gore.
Al Gore. Thank you. I went blank on his name and not W.
Okay, Heidi Scheibel says Wisconsin, the biggest county, Wisconsin's biggest county, Milwaukee County, is the late reporter every year. That's true. And Biden won that one just by a narrow margin, but he won. So who do y'all think is going to win Wisconsin? Let's go round robin on that one. Dan, we'll start with you.
Okay, hold on. Will Kamala win Wisconsin? Let me ask, will Kamala win Wisconsin? Will Trump win Wisconsin? Wisconsin may go to Trump. I'm hoping not, but
Arthur,
I'm
what do
getting a
you
maybe for him.
I'm leaning towards Vice President Harris.
I hope you're right.
Okay,
That's what I'm
Aiden,
doing.
what do you think?
I definitely think Harris as well.
Sherry?
My pendulum said yes, Harris, no Trump.
It's going to be really, really, really
Yeah.
close.
It's saying maybe, not for sure on him.
Wisconsin used to be the most progressive, one of the most progressive states in the union. Then they got that, I call him Governor Goodhair up there. I forgot his name, but he really screwed that state up. But
Remember all the stuff Trump said about Milwaukee?
What do you say about Milwaukee?
I remember it's just very disparaging stuff, and they said, "Hey, that's not the way we see Milwaukee."
And do you have any results for Wisconsin right now?
Things should be coming up around 5 minutes, actually.
I
Aiden,
think
you're
if she wins, it'll be tight. It's going to be tight.
Muted.
Aiden, you're muted.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I always try to mute it because I want to keep the talking to a minimum from me. But I just have some texts real quick. It's about 53% reported, and I know a lot of the readers online said that All Red would win, and it's only 53% reported. But right now it says Cruz has 50% of the vote, and All Red has 47%. So it's really close. We still have a lot more votes to count. But you were asking about Wisconsin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like there's any results yet. Polls close in 3 minutes in Wisconsin and also 3 minutes in Arizona, I think. I don't know.
Somebody's saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is winning her district. That doesn't surprise me. Linda Grindle, I predicted she'd win because she comes from that really ultra red district. But I still see some way or another them getting her out of the House.
I see indictments.
So do I.
And subpoenas, being passed out probably starting tomorrow.
Okay, Kristen F said, I feel so excited but feel anxious at the same time. It's a weird energy. Yeah, the energy is a little weird, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster.
Well, that's my friend Beverly says, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
Is Wisconsin normally a Republican area? Because, like I said, I was getting a maybe on Trump. Like it was kind of iffy, but I was thinking,
it used to be like a bellwether of who's going to win, and it was really traditionally before. Well, years ago, it was a pretty blue state. They were really progressive, but then they got that one governor in up there who was really
Walker.
Yes, Walker, who was an ultra conservative governor, and he, changed the whole mix of their House and their Senate up there, and their judges, their Supreme Court, and he flipped that state. But I'm thinking Tim Walz can bring in a lot of the rural votes too.
Yeah, he's great.
So, I know J.D. Vance is from Appalachia, but he lives in Ohio now. So, I think that a lot of the Southern is out of him because he's been in Ohio his whole life. But
well, and I had read that a lot of the Appalachians that are, from that area that he wrote his book about and everything were highly insulted by his book because they were like, that's not us at all.
It wasn't insulting
You know,
because it wasn't them at all. You know, he made them
Yeah.
look like a bunch of stupid hillbillies, and they're not.
right.
You know, people in Appalachia. My grandmother was from there. They're wonderful people, actually, and
Yeah.
so you know they were just traditionally they had their own mines, you know, for their families, and they worked in underground mines, and then the coal companies came in and started strip mining and ran the smaller people out of business. And so you know, it was, and a lot of people up there, you know, many years ago lacked education, so they were coal miners. And I remember
Yeah.
the movie Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn when her husband Doolittle said, you know, these parts, it's coal mine or move on further down the line. No, coal mine, moonshine, or move on further down the line. Now, my grandmother's people, some were coal miners. My uncle Archie, that was my Aunt Mamie, my great aunt's husband, died of black lung. But my grandma's brothers and them, they had moonshine stills, and that's how
Yeah.
they made their living. And years ago, if they got busted, they would go to jail federal for a year and a day, and that meant you had to stay and serve that day. And the reason is because there was no federal tax stamp on it. So they had something called revenuers, and that was a precursor to the IRS. And the revenuers would come in and bust up their stills, take them to court, send them to jail for a year and a day. They'd get out and start another still. So
Yep.
my grandmother's people were, a lot of them, many of them were moonshiners. So
There was a show,
By the way,
Moonshiners, that was showing them.
yeah, we've got 1,800 in the room,
um,
all combined, or it just dropped a little bit, but
okay. So Teacher Barbara said, Joan Baker says, Teacher Barbara is going to be okay. Hugs. So I think some of these comments are older. I'm keep scrolling, but I'm like an hour behind on the comments.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys, guess what? So I'm looking at the map right now, and Kamala just Madam President. See, I told you guys it's gonna take a minute for it to click in. You know, she's at 99 right now, 99 electoral votes. So she just moved from 71 to 99, and Trump is at 106. So it's 99 to 106. So it's getting closer.
So he's ahead by 7.
yeah, and you
Yes.
still got a lot of blue states that haven't been counted yet because they're out west.
Yeah, she's gonna. You know, I think it's probably, you know, the swing states got to be like Pennsylvania for her to win.
I wish we didn't have electoral. I wish it could just be by popular vote, because the Democrats would win every time if it was by popular vote, you know?
Well, but it's antiquated, you know.
But it's also up to the states. The states have to vote for it.
Our
You know?
founding parents put that together because back then the way that they were drawn, it was a representative democracy, and they had to back in those days. But now it's antiquated, and I think at some point they will get rid of the Electoral College.
Oh yeah,
But it's also each state has to vote for it. That's what the thing is. And there's a lot of red states not voting for it.
So Pegasus says, I'm 74. Well, granted, if Kamala wins, then they'll yell about doing away with the Electoral College. I'm 74 and voted on my birthday this year. Yay. I have never seen an election like this one. Me either. Women are coming out in droves. Done with being pushed around. Thanks for the live at Arthur. Ease your mind. Well, yeah, Arthur's streaming through his, Sherry's streaming through hers. I think Deanne's probably streaming through hers. So we're all streaming to y'all.
And Roxanne said, I turned off my TV.
Oh, no, I didn't stream this.
I'm sorry, say again.
I said I didn't stream this because I didn't think we were supposed to.
That's all right. It's okay. So Rose Blue told me about the BRIC thing. It's Brazil, Russia, China,
South Africa,
India. I think the BRIS would be Brazil, Russia, India, and China, BRIC, but South Africa as well. I think Elon Musk should go back there.
Okay, I have a few more
Ocean
updates.
Garnet just
Wait, hold on. Go ahead. An update. Go ahead, Aiden.
Okay, a few more updates. So unfortunately, you know, Nebraska is probably not going to change for a while, but Pete Ricketts, who's a Republican, just won a Senate race. New York just sided with President Harris. or I keep on using that, Vice President Harris. But let's manifest it, And then Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat, has won her Senate race in New York. Also,
So if Kamala's got New York now, what are her points now?
it's still 99, but it says that Trump is at 120 right now because he just got North Dakota, and it's 3 electoral votes, and also Kevin Cramer, who's Republican, has won a Senate race in North Dakota. Nothing surprising yet, so nobody worry.
Wait,
Nothing
he went from
surprising.
Yeah, so
120.
far, everything's breaking pretty much the way we thought it would.
Wait, so how did he go from 103 to 127?
North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming.
Now, who won? Who got those states in 2020?
I'm assuming it was Trump because those
I believe he did. Yeah.
Can you check and see?
Yeah, let me check.
There's a method to my madness. So that is that 99 she's got is with New York, right?
Yes. So it looks like in 2020, Trump got Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. We haven't seen anything surprising yet. It's panning out kind of the same way it did back in 2020.
Except for Georgia, and she's got to win Arizona. She's got to win Pennsylvania, right?
Michigan.
Yeah.
And Michigan.
And Michigan.
Yeah.
And then Trump, it says that Trump just got Louisiana for president.
Well,
Of
we knew
course.
that.
The
We knew
states
that.
winning are all red states to begin with, so there's no surprises.
So, speaking of Michigan, what do you all think? Arthur?
Harris.
Deanne?
Harris.
Aiden?
Harris, yeah.
Sherry?
Harris.
Don't drink the alcohol. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Says watching another news channel just pissing me off. Not faux by any means.
Well, we have a detox program.
Yes.
By the way, in Great Britain, when you say somebody's pissed, it doesn't mean they're angry. It means they're
drunk.
drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not talk about fanny packs.
What does it mean there?
A woman's private part.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. I just wanted to see if you knew. No, I'm teasing. Okay.
I used to work with a lot of Brits.
Yes, I'm learning Cockney. Okay. Let's see. It says, Trini Patsy said, trust the Lord. Trump will be Trump and say he wins. Biden has immunity, so he's not. I don't know what Biden
Not
will
going
do.
to let Trump have his way.
Right. This is really good. I love this one. Spiritual Sean says, love and light, everyone. Raise your vibration to the most benevolent outcome. Also, wine helps.
Yes.
And remember, the rabbit always wins.
Right?
No.
I like somebody when they said progressive over regressive. I
Yeah.
like that. But I added one to it, and I'm going to use this. Progressive over regressive and repressive.
Yeah. I just misspoke. I meant to say, the turtle always wins, not the rabbit. And Trump is the rabbit. Kamala's the turtle. Harris.
Somebody with
And we like turtles, so
patience not my virtue.
Oh, I tell people, do not be patient, be present. Period.
I'm looking at the map right now, and I'm looking at, I think that's either Kansas or Nebraska. I think it's Kansas. Kansas was red in the 2020 election, but right now it looks like about 30% of the votes are counted in Kansas, and it's leaning towards Harris. So you might get Kansas.
But it's still too early.
Yeah, just being, my hopes are up high.
rah rah.
MSNBC has Rachel Maddow on a lot of good details on the results. 16 states and DC closing in 3 minutes. Well, I feel like that Vice President Harris will take D.C.
Oh yeah.
Arthur, what state did you say that was it Pennsylvania? That if she wins Pennsylvania, then she's got it. Is that the main?
I feel she wins. Well, actually, I was saying. I think I said if she wins Pennsylvania and Michigan, she wins.
Okay, I think she will win those two.
Well, but it depends on still how many other states that he wins and the electoral votes that each state
Right,
has.
but I'm
That's
saying they
why
have
it's
good.
possible-
They're good numbers,
That's why it's possible to win the popular vote and not the electoral vote.
and that's what happened with Hillary.
That's what happened with Hillary. Do you all see a repeat of that?
No,
Mm-mm.
I'll put it this way. When I have people asking me back then who's going to win, I said Clinton. Now, when people ask me who's going to win, I said the popular or the electoral. And electoral college to me is going to go to Harris.
Yeah.
Period.
So is a popular, but
But I'm just main looking at the electoral.
no, right, because Hillary did win the
Mhm.
popular vote
She did.
by and far large margin.
West Virginia just called for Trump. Who won West Virginia in 2020?
That would have been
West Virginia is Trump. Yeah,
Who won it in 2020?
Trump.
Trump.
Also, it looks like Nebraska just selected Trump for president, and Ohio did as well.
we
I
felt
figured
that.
Ohio would.
Yeah,
So who won in Ohio in 2020? Trump, right?
Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we really haven't seen anything so different from 2020 yet. So
How many electoral votes does he have? How many points does he have, and how many? Because it takes 235, right? Or
270.
270.
270.
yes. So right now Harris has 99, and Trump has 120. But we're still going from east to west right now. So let's see.
I don't know how he has one.
And a reminder, and one of the folks in the chat had put it in there as a reminder. Don't get out of line and leave, even if the polls have
Please.
technically closed.
No,
if you're
no.
in line, they cannot turn you away.
California's
If you're in-
voting is still for 2 more hours here.
Yeah, I mean, but even East Coast, Central Coast, whatever, if you're in line and there are people still in line to vote, they can't close that poll until everyone votes. That's why you don't leave the line. You stay in line no matter
How many
what.
points is California? Because we know that California is going to be Harris. We probably know that Arizona is going to be Harris. We probably a lot of
Washington State.
Eastern Seaboard states will be Harris, Vice President Harris, and I think it's going to be a tight race. But
What I would like to see is, though, even though they're calling like Trump won, when all the votes come in, I would like to see the margins of how much who won by. Because I feel this year is going to be much, much closer than ever before. And they just squeaked by.
Sharon Donnelly says the Trump
Oh,
victory
yeah.
is not my sole contract. Is he in yours? No, he
No.
was never in mine.
No, on Earth plane number 37, maybe, but not here.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like Trump just got bumped up to 137.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's usual. We haven't seen that. That's not different than what we
I don't know if
expected.
you can
it to be.
see this or not, but all
This
the
is-
red states
one.
are
This
they're
is
red
so,
anyway.
This is so reminiscent of what happened in 2020, with the exception of Georgia. But then Georgia switched.
And Georgia hasn't been called yet.
I'm sorry.
Georgia has
Georgia
not.
hadn't been called.
Right
Georgia's still voting.
now, Trump has how many? Did you say, Aiden?
Trump has 137, and Harris has 99.
Okay. So, but still, that doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
Correct.
Everything is going according to plan, kind of, mostly.
Well, the way
Yeah.
it was in 2020.
Exactly.
And Biden still won.
He's ahead by 30.
I got to step off to the little girl's room. I'll be back in a minute.
That's all right. We're going to
Okay.
Yep.
Well, they actually just called a few more states.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Well, kind of.
Maybe, maybe not.
No, not good.
Not good. They just called Texas. So he got bumped up to 177. And Texas gave him 40 electoral votes. But that we knew that was going to happen. And it looks like Cruz is beating Allred in Texas.
Unreal.
Let me tap on it and see if I can get any more information.
So, Arthur, how many votes did you say? To what? Arthur?
270.
Okay, so he needs. Let me see here.
He needs about 130.
No, he's at 177.
So 123.
No, he needs 100.
He's at 177. You said?
Yes.
So he needs 93 more, and Kamala needs. She needs 171.
But don't forget, these are the same states that Trump won last time.
They're the same ones.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden still won.
Let me just check something. Are you on Wikipedia? I see. Well, okay. So, Aiden, how many? So, she is at Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Pennsylvania, New York, all the Eastern Seaboard states. We don't know about, Montana. We don't know California or Washington. I'm sure she's going to take Washington State. She'll probably take Oregon and probably Arizona. Alaska, we don't know. She'll take Hawaii. So we just have to start adding.
Wish Puerto Rico could vote after what they said about Puerto Rico.
And Puerto Rico, she's going to take that too. So does anybody know how many electoral votes does Canada have? I'm sorry, does Colorado have? Do you know, Aiden?
What was the question?
How many electoral votes does Colorado have?
Let me see. It says... Sorry, my phone's kind of slow. Drum roll, please.
Right now, he's leading by about 7 points, but
Colorado has 10 electoral votes.
So that would put her up to 109. How about Kansas?
Kansas has, I think I saw 3. Let me double check. Kansas. Kansas has 6.
How about Pennsylvania?
Okay, let me find it. Sorry, guys, I'm a little slow at this, but that's fine. Okay, Pennsylvania has 19. And it looks like Harris is winning with 20% votes reported.
So add up Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Iowa, and see what that adds up to.
My strong suit isn't math, but I'll see.
Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Pennsylvania, and Michigan.
Someone just said in the chat that she. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, do you remember how many each one had? I just said.
I don't remember.
Okay. Someone is probably good at math in the chat, and they'll let us know.
You said a lot of red states have small populations, so they can call earlier.
So somebody, okay, so Arthur, maybe you could do it. Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
I have to count my fingers.
Should I say it again?
I have to count my fingers.
Do you have all the states I called off?
I know which one you want.
Sherry, are you good with numbers? I'm looking at this map right here. This map here is what I'm doing.
I'm just trying to figure out what state has how many.
If you give me what the numbers are for those, I can add them up for you real quick. I got my calculator.
I don't know what the numbers are, but what I want to do is add Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Michigan, and Pennsylvania.
And maybe California, right? Because that's a big chunk of votes.
And
Yes.
California
Yeah,
as well.
20 something votes, I think. California, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri,
Iowa, Michigan,
Iowa,
and Pennsylvania.
and Pennsylvania. Okay, let me look.
And California has a total of 54 electoral votes.
54. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know she's going to take California.
New York 28.
That's 153 if she takes California, but that still puts her behind Trump.
Oh, it looks like we just got some news. Fannie Willis has won her position in Georgia.
Yay.
Good.
Yay.
I think that's good news. I don't know.
No,
Right?
it is. It's
Okay.
really good news.
Aiden, can you check and see who won Virginia in 2020?
Looks
New York
like
closed till 9.
Biden won Virginia.
And how many electoral votes is that?
13.
Because it looks like Trump is taking Virginia right now, unless it changes.
Look at us. We're like psychic journalists right now,
Really? Right.
doing the math and analytics.
Correct. Well, we're
On
probably.
iPhones.
So Sherry, what number did you get?
I'm still trying to find all the votes it gets for these.
I'd say Virginia is
I don't
really,
have the
really.
number.
Virginia is way too close to call right now, probably. I'm not a pollster or whatever, but it says 51% of the vote
Okay.
is called. Harris has 49, and
Colorado
Trump
is
has 49.
Oh, so it's too close to call. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still-
Iowa
okay. So
has 6. Kansas has 6.
I'm just curious.
Michigan has 15.
Jules Niner says Virginia was
Missouri
allowed to
has
throw out
10.
voters, even though it was within 90 days of the election. He is leading, and Virginia was Biden 2020.
Pennsylvania has 19. Washington, Oregon. 8.
Wisconsin went for Trump. This is what one of your subscribers, this is what I'm getting said.
12. Okay.
It's not showing right now.
So
Yeah, it actually says that right now there's 50.
she
there's
had 99.
I'm sorry,
She
Sherry, say again.
takes okay, she had 99. She takes California. That brings her up to 153. Colorado adds 163. Kansas, she's 169. Missouri, she's 179. Iowa is 185. Michigan puts her at 200. Pennsylvania puts her at 219. Washington State puts her at 231. Oregon puts her at 239. Let's see, I didn't look at
Arizona.
Arizona that's plus 11. Plus 11. That puts her at 250. Hawaii, that puts her at 258.
Who said that she won Wisconsin? Who said that Trump won Wisconsin?
One of the subscribers here said that Trump won Wisconsin. I'll have to go back and see.
No, I don't think that's true because only
not, because
5% of the votes have been counted in Wisconsin.
Yeah. And
and
somebody
it's-
else said no. Pamela said no. Wisconsin only has 3% of the votes in.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll let you guys know if something's, confirmed. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So who is Stouffer Cavens?
He's a psychic. He's kind of on the
YouTube.
fringe of our community. Yeah.
Said he predicted a Trump victory. So
And we'll see. Some people's telephone works better than others.
Somebody says that she's watching CNN from Canada and they are showing Harris with 50 electoral votes and Trump at 154. I think that's inaccurate.
You think?
I don't know how a felon who can't vote can be running for president in the first place. It just blows my mind, and that people would actually vote for him with everything he's done.
This is reminiscent of 2020. I'm not throwing in the towel yet.
No.
I did say one thing a long time ago when Biden stepped down, and I just said I'm fearful that he might have handed the election to Trump. But then when I started seeing Kamala and the energy, I was like, wow, I was excited. I felt that way when I saw Barack Obama. But I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm just not.
No.
I mean, it's
No.
it's it's a nail biter. It really is a nail biter. But
It's hard to see how it is, though, because you look at her and she was just so positive, and she's so full of joy and positivity and bringing people together, and her crowds were so diverse. So, and his is just nothing but hate and fear and division. So I just can't understand how it could even be close.
I also just want to say that some of you guys' news sources, someone just said they're not predicting or providing accurate numbers. I'm looking at the AP News, which is, I've used it for a lot of elections, that have happened. So just be careful where you're getting your information from. That's all I'll say.
what do you see?
Yeah.
What are you saying about Maine right now, Aiden?
Let me go check. Maine. Oh my gosh, it's gray. I don't know.
It hasn't been called.
That
yet.
means they're still counting. It hadn't been called yet.
Yes.
I'm looking at I don't know what I'm looking at, but some of them trend red, some right, because where I'm looking, it's got Maine is kind of pink, but we shall see. But that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, only 1% of the votes are in Maine. So that doesn't,
That doesn't mean anything.
probably like 100 people voted and so far, or they're only counted 100 votes, So
Yeah, Afrofuturism says astrologer Denise Siegel says, have faith. She believes Kamala will win. Yeah.
Somebody says abortion lost. What? Florida? Where are the women? The women are out voting.
Yeah, but the thing is, people may vote for Trump. Just because Trump may get Florida does not mean that amendment went through, or that it was
right.
They didn't get rid of the abortion ban.
I also want to highlight something from Ms. Tarot D. At this point, regardless if Harris or Trump wins, it's been made clear that we live in a country where almost 50% of the population holds such harmful belief systems.
I totally agree with that. And that's what I've been saying. It's really frightening that, before it was just a smaller number of us, and that maybe not 50%, but probably, would you put that up again, Aiden, please?
Yeah.
At least 45, 48%. And so, Ms. Tarot D, I totally agree with you on that one. It is very frightening.
Yes.
But it's up to us to fight to continue to put an end to the bigotry, the racism, and the xenophobia. Trump made a big thing on the crisis at the border. I got news for you. There is no crisis at the border. I think he manufactured a lot of that. And when Biden gave them the package they wanted, they still said no, because all this time since the MAGAs have taken over the House, who's been running the House? Is it Mike Johnson? Absolutely not. It's Donald Trump. When Biden gave the Republicans what they wanted with this immigration bill, Trump said, no, I don't want it. And why did he say that? Because he could influence the outcome of this election. So he thought, okay, by making a problem with immigration when really it wasn't as bad as what he made it out to be. He didn't want immigration reform. He didn't want anything changed because he wanted to have a platform.
He wanted something broke so we can say it's broken. I can fix it.
Correct. That's right.
He wanted the economy to crash so he could run on that. He was hoping. That's just not a good person.
I agree.
Also, it looks like the Senate, this is what the AP News is saying about the Senate. It looks like Republicans have 46 and Democrats have 35, but we still have more states to count. And you have to, I guess, have 50 to at least
Yes.
come to a tie.
Somebody says I need to update the map. Trump has Missouri and Kansas, but I'm looking at a map right here, and I don't see that. What do you see, Aiden?
What was the question?
Somebody says, Mel, you need to update the map. Trump has Missouri and Kansas. I don't see that.
No, it looks like Harris has Kansas right now. Only 40% of the votes in, but Harris has 51. Trump has 48.
Right.
Um,
It looks. Who had New Mexico in 2020?
it was Biden.
Okay. Well, it's kind of looking pink now, but how much of the vote is in New Mexico?
12% of the vote is in.
How much?
12% of the vote.
Okay, so that doesn't.
But it
New
says that,
Mexico just went blue. I just saw it flip to blue.
yes, it says
Yep.
that 51% goes to Harris.
Okay. So
Also, I'm just going to add what I'm seeing here is Josh Hawley is behind.
yes,
Good.
Osborne is ahead in Nebraska.
Let's see. Eileen just said that Florida amendment to expand abortion access appears to have failed. The 6-week abortion ban remains, and they had to get above 60% of the vote on that to repeal that, I think.
Wow.
So that's unfortunate.
However, when Harris gets in, she'll sign in the law.
I'm
She
sorry.
pulled New York, didn't she? Or did they not call that one yet?
Got it. Rondell
Got
Fredkin says, lots of love and blue wishes from Australia. Hello, down under. Wishing the best outcome for America and the world. Yes, so are we. So are we. Says Harris got Delaware. Okay.
So I think the most accurate, most updated, I'm going to call it a score, but electoral votes is 99 for Harris, 179 for Trump. So, all your other news stations like ABC and NBC, they could be predicting states that, have about 20% of the vote counted already, of the votes counted. But confirmed by the AP News, it's 99 versus 179. So we'll keep a lookout. Thank you for listening to me, reporter Aiden. Okay.
It looks like Maryland's going to Harris.
Okay.
And I think that's what you said, Mel. The Eastern Seaboard's going
That's
to Harris.
10. That's 10 right there.
Well, Virginia, it looks like Trump is leading. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. But up north, it's still got Maine as pink, but all the other states, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, they're all for Harris. Pennsylvania is shading blue. Michigan. Wisconsin still shows red, but that could change. Minnesota's showing red, but that could change as well.
And also, Christy just brings up that Angela also Brooks, she's a Democrat, won Senate from Maryland, and she's the first Black woman to make it to the Senate from Maryland.
She beat out Larry Hogan.
It was Angela also Brooks.
Yeah, she beat out Larry Hogan. I think she was running against.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, good.
I
Yes.
agree with what Kiki said here. She said Fox is responsible for the way many people think and believe in this country. They're so misinformed, they don't know the whole truth. I think that's a lot of it is Fox.
I agree. Kindred924 says, I live in Virginia and we haven't voted for a Republican president since 2004. This year, the Supreme Court ruled in the Republicans' favor to let them purge voter rolls just a few weeks ago. Yes, I saw that. So what happens is they purge the rolls so they could try to take Virginia. And I see at some point that being overturned as well. Yeah, I have a hard time believing that Virginia would go for Trump. There's some underhanded stuff there, I believe. Purging voter rolls. Yeah. What state was it that took 720,000 people off the rolls?
I think it was Georgia.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Okay, just from the map I was just looking at, and I don't know how accurate this map is up to date, but just in the shading of the colors, and I'm counting up the ones that they're saying she took, I'm getting a total of Madam President at 181 right now.
Oh, she's got to have
So that doesn't count. That doesn't count Nevada. That doesn't count Utah. That doesn't count Arizona. Doesn't count California or Alaska or Oregon or Washington or Idaho.
It says Georgia has over 1 million votes to count as of right now. So
Also, they're making a good point in the chat about if you live in a very heavily red state or you live in a red area or a red community, be careful. They're bringing up the point that you might want to take down some of your Harris signs, because if Harris wins, Trump voters will, they might steal a sign.
Oh, they're already threatening. It's already coming out that they're threatening to retaliate. I read an article on that just before I left work today.
You know what? I'd say bring it on. I would not take, that's my freedom of speech. And I will not let anybody rob me of that. That's what Trump and Putin want. They want us to
Great.
Raphael is now a Category 1 hurricane and heading for Louisiana. Well, I guess that's what we get for going red.
Martha said huge urban parts of many states have not yet been counted yet.
Exactly. Yeah. So they may be showing red, but you get those urban counts in and you're going to see a lot of light blue or purple or even blue.
Well, red always gets counted first, and then the blue comes in. That's where Trump was playing the game of I was winning, and then all of a sudden all these fake votes for the Democrats came in. It's they count them later.
Yeah, because a lot of states haven't even touched the mail-in ballots yet. So
Spears Beyond the Stars said, I had to register 3 different times this year because they kept on removing my registry to vote. What state are you in, Spirits? I'm closing my drawer here. It didn't want to close.
Also, we have to be very careful with what we choose to believe from like the news, ABC, NBC, especially Fox, because a lot of these big companies are owned or managed by, MAGA Republicans. So we have to really be careful. This is fear mongering.
Exactly.
Fear mongering is a tactic they use on the news, especially on Fox News. So we have to be careful with what we read and what we rely on.
We call that the legacy news that nobody wants to listen to anymore.
Somebody in the chat said CNN called New York for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, we know that, right?
Did you get that one? Okay.
Yeah, New York, that's 28. That's 28 votes.
That orange jerk is closer to 200 than she is. Why won't he lose? I want her to win. I believe she will win. What is happening? We don't know yet. It's still young. So
we haven't called Pennsylvania. We haven't called Michigan. These are big states.
All right. So Renee Ramirez says, do you still think Kamala is going to win? What do you guys think?
Yes.
Yes. Kamala win? Yes.
The popular vote and the electoral vote.
Some people are asking what happened. Some people said that Florida was going blue, but it went red. Is that possible? Well, change somehow.
They
I like.
could if they haven't got the big urban centers counted yet.
Well, Florida is they've already called Florida, correct? Or have
Well, the news organizations have called Florida, not the actual states.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
looking at
right.
AP News, and it's still 99,178. So there are more states to be called, though, like Georgia. A lot of the swing states, like Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, I think.
Spirits Beyond the Star says, "I will not take down my flag. We do not live under a dictatorship, so I refuse to take it down."
Amen.
You.
Good for you.
What state are you in, Spirit? Beyond Stars.
Well, Lisa, what did Scott Allen say if he said something make you feel better now? Because I know Scott Allen is in Wisconsin, Michigan, somewhere up there.
They called Maryland governor for Dems on PBS. One of those.
Yeah, that was Angela Also Brooks, who was the
Okay.
first Black woman to be on the Senate for Maryland.
Well, here's a good one. I'm not going to read on what other people say, but it says Psychic Stopper. I don't know who Psychic Stopper is. Predicted that Kamala would win the popular vote, but there will be problems with 4 states that will lead to lawsuits from both sides going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will give it to Trump. I don't know who that is. Does anybody know who that is?
I think
Let's try to keep the the other psychics, what they predicted to their channels.
Yeah,
we don't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree. I just don't know who that is.
You might recognize him if you see a picture, because he apparently goes live with Kevin Lewis a lot. But let's try to keep the talking about other psychics to a minimum, because we don't want to invalidate or validate anybody else's opinions.
Correct. I right. I agree. They put it up there and I just didn't know who it was. That's
Gotcha.
all.
That's fine. Oh,
Miss Terrell D says AP Press has a wonderful real-time map. Do you know what that is, Aiden?
Yeah, that's the one I'm using.
AP
Is that
Press.
the one
Yeah.
you're using?
Yes.
Is that the red blue? Is that the one I'm using? AP map.
Yeah.
Does it look like
Yeah.
this?
A
No.
little bit.
Well,
Harris is up in Pennsylvania.
little squares. That's the
Oh.
AP map.
Well, it kind of looks like that, right?
These are just squares that don't have the actual outlines of the states.
AP map. Let's take a look at that one.
Here, wait a minute. I'll show you the one I'm looking at.
Out of symmetricals, I won't care what I'm looking at.
Lisa Foster said Harris is up
That's
in
the one I'm
Pennsylvania.
looking at right there. As you can see, it's actually the states, and then it's showing each what's been called to date. That's what they're counting.
Right.
So there's a lot of them that we've been kind of including that they haven't technically been called yet. So just what I was looking at. So
okay.
yeah, because you still got Alaska and Hawaii. You got everything out west. And of course, there's still the polls are still open out there.
Yeah.
And
We still have an hour and a half. It's only 6:45 here, and we still have 8 o'clock. I like what Shem Donnelly wrote. Delaware voted in the first openly trans woman.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Awesome.
Delaware voted in the first openly trans woman to the House. Go Delaware.
What? Yay.
That's fantastic.
Arthur, you have a troll in your chat.
I don't know how to get rid of them.
Okay.
What
that's
does
fine.
it say?
Oh, nothing. Just
hang
some
on.
crazy things.
In my Arthur's. Hang on. Let's.
Whoever's a moderator in
Assuming it
Arthur's.
should show up on mine, but I don't see it.
Who's the troll? Did they say?
It's AA dot 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 A dot 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 A. Someone that doesn't have the courage to put their own face in their profile picture. You know the
Here,
vibes.
okay, I got you. Remove.
You know, if you're gonna talk bad in the comment section, you better, have the confidence and the balls to back that up. Which
All right.
most
Well, I
people
timed him out for 24 hours, so
Oh, here
Lisa,
it is. I see it now.
Lisa said in response to what we were saying about other readers, it just made us nervous when someone that is a good reader predicts that. So we're just sharing it with you all. And that's fine. I just didn't know who it was. That's why I brought it up. I had no clue.
yeah.
Okay.
I know who he is. I just don't know him. I've never actually met him, so.
And she's got, okay. So he's got 178. She's got 99, right? So
yes, that's where we are right now.
So she has to come up to what? 79 votes. 179? I don't know. Let's see. He's got 178.
So
right?
Harris needs 171 more electoral votes
She needs 79.
because it's 270, right?
Yes,
But he's got 170. Right, correct. But to tie with Trump, she's got to come up at least 79.
right. But California is 55 points. Don't forget that.
Okay, so that's right. I forgot about that. So that would bring her to 154. Right? All right. My math skills suck.
Oh,
I'm like you, Aiden.
Well, if y'all shout out the numbers, I can add them up on the calculator. I just don't trust my brain with math, but I can punch in numbers and hit the plus sign.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's anyway. Okay.
Wow, we have a lot of trolls today. I'm like, oh wow, thank you so much for stopping by and being mean. Yeah,
Oh, is there another
Who's
troll?
got the other troll?
Amanda says
there's
stop doing math. You know what, Amanda? I'm not good at math, so it's my channel. I'll do anything I want.
who's the other troll? Whose channel?
There's
Who's
Arthur
chat?
in your chat. There's Gmail. There's
Got it. I got it. Taking care of it right now. Okay.
See, I don't know where all
Yeah,
the
there they go again.
I don't know where all the hate and violence is coming from. I'm assuming they're Donald Trump's posse, but
A lot of them are probably bots, and just
Russian bots.
assholes who are out, or just assholes that are looking to cause trouble.
Indigo Steve says, I'm blowing my diet and eating chocolate and chips.
Oh, that reminds me.
Somebody else wrote they were eating all their candy from Christmas.
I got me a
Amanda Carroll says
gift a while back for the election.
Amanda Carroll says Mel, stop doing math.
yeah, I'd be doing the same thing with the candy if I wasn't on camera. I might just get some
a
myself.
glass of wine after this.
Okay, so we do have some trolls here. So this is on somebody's channel. It's not on mine. I cannot put them on timeout. It's Gmail. Gmail says,
yeah, I already took care of it. He's already banned.
All right.
Yeah, unfortunately, that came through my channel. Sorry.
It's just we can take them off of the YouTube, but it's still going to show up in the StreamYard chat.
Make Lisa a moderator.
Lisa Foster? She already is.
I have some more news for you guys. So, Missouri just got a Republican governor, Mike Kehoe. He has won Missouri.
So that probably means Missouri would go to Trump, huh?
But also,
not necessarily.
76% of the Georgia votes have been counted. And, there's still a lot more to be counted, but right now it's saying that about 47% is going to go for Harris and 52 is going to go for Trump.
Well, it was
But,
close last time, so Donald counted him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kiki Light says, thank the trolls for adding to your algorithms. Yay.
Yay!
Yeah.
It says, Giselle says, you all are great readers. Plus, revealing like Deanne, Linda G, intuitive, Freebird Spirits all predict Kamala will win. Yeah, we're all predicting it. So,
another message says, among reporters and analysts who are trying to interpret the vote so far, the current consensus is that everything looks likely to come down to Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. We don't have much votes from those states yet, though, and still plenty of states have yet to report on any results.
Correct.
Which ones they said? Michigan and who?
Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
well, I think she'll win Michigan and Pennsylvania.
I do too.
So if she wins those two, then and Trump wins and no, what did you say? Wisconsin, Aiden?
Yes, it was Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
So if she wins Wisconsin, I mean, if Trump wins Wisconsin and she wins Michigan and Pennsylvania, then what happens? Curious.
Wisconsin is 10.
Another good point that people are making in the comment section is that a lot of these states are only, the first counties to really
Come in
are red. So we're still waiting for the big cities to populate.
Right.
That's what I was saying earlier.
And in Wisconsin, we still don't have the Democratic areas in yet. So
Correct. And they said Wisconsin it's like 2:30 in the morning before they got their information.
oh, it was. I remember watching it. I was up and I'm like, oh my God, Trump was ahead. And then all of a sudden I'm like, how could this be? And then Wisconsin switched. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But we still didn't know because we still needed, Georgia, and we still needed a couple other states. So it was a nail biter.
I didn't sleep last night, so I'm like slap happy at the moment.
I probably won't sleep tonight.
Well, do you think
according to the AP map, the Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa, Pennsylvania, those all are blue. Illinois.
They're leaning towards blue. They haven't been called.
I think Illinois has been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Illinois has been.
Yeah. But if you notice on the AP, the blue is like a light blue.
Yeah,
So, like,
light blue and a dark blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
the light
so-
blue is not called yet. Not
Wendy says
official yet.
The New York Times is predicting Donald Trump as winner.
What? Stupid New York Times. I canceled them.
Well, that's why they didn't even have, like the Washington Post didn't even have endorse anybody. Hedging their bet.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a way to get everybody all stirred up and all freaked out and everything if they start trying to call it for the orange turd, it's
Yeah, well, New York Times was calling Biden Mr. Biden and calling Trump President Trump.
President Trump,
I
yeah.
canceled their subscription. Thought they would be fair and biased or unbiased, and they're not.
New York Times hadn't been fair and unbiased in decades.
I'm going to say one thing though. I know some reporters that work for the Times. They're really great people. It's the editor and the top people that make the decisions.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's not the reporters. That's not who I'm talking about.
Danny says rural is mostly red, but Minneapolis and St. Paul are blue. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right. And here, this is what I forgot about this, but somebody here said they still believe Alan Lichtman keys. I gotta find it.
Yeah, the 13 keys, and he says that Harris is clearly going to be the winner.
Yeah, he's been saying that all along.
Mhm.
Here.
Yep.
I believe Lichtman too, but we shall see. All right, so shall we continue, or shall we just call it and just see what happens?
I can put some white poker chips in my eyes and look like I'm here. So
We've been on for 2 hours, so
I mean, if anybody wants to leave and call it a night, I'm good. I can stay here. And
I'm good for a little bit longer. Yeah.
okay.
What I think the next wave will probably come in about 7 minutes. So
Yeah.
they can be called. So do you want to
Yeah.
wait till then?
Well, I'm just gonna run to the washroom.
Yeah.
No,
Everybody
Audrey-
take a potty break.
Get a hall pass for Mel.
There
yeah,
you
I got my snacks. I have my club crackers right here. So if you want to get some snacks, get some
I need a
drinks.
glass of wine, I think.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Well, honey, go get you a glass of wine.
I might. Audrey
there.
says the
Tell 'em
rural
bring some
areas
wine.
the rural areas have lower population, so they'll get their votes in quicker to be counted, is what Audrey's saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just use an IV. It's a lot faster.
I could use that. CNN is predicting Trump will win Georgia and North Carolina.
Owned by a MAGA person, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. They're owned by the rich people that they
Even-
have everything to gain by getting the tax cuts, and that's what they want. They're trying to
Even
influence people.
MSNBC. Even MSNBC is now owned by a hardcore right winger. That's why you've seen so much of their programming starting to swing to the right.
It's still. I feel it's still going back.
So Arthur, which states is it that she really has to win? If she wins, we got Pennsylvania,
Michigan, Wisconsin.
Okay. I feel Pennsylvania and Michigan are a yes. I feel Wisconsin is a
I
maybe.
still feel she's going to win Iowa and
Iowa, yeah.
Arizona, California, Ohio, Washington. Probably I don't know about Utah though, or Nevada.
It's a maybe on Utah. What Nevada I get? She may win Nevada.
That'll be an upset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All I can say is I don't see Carrie Lake winning.
Oh God, no.
She's already claiming, it was just in a Raw Story article that popped up. She's already claiming election fraud.
Yeah.
Carrie Lake is, because she's obviously not winning.
Yeah, Mel will be right back. Some lone phantom said, "Where did Mel go? I walked in late. He ran to take a little break there. He'll be right back."
He's actually there. He has his Halloween costume on. He's the Invisible Man.
You just can't see him.
Yeah.
Penny, try not to panic. Let's just manifest it. We will just send her all kinds of love and light and prayers, and I feel she's got this. I just still can't believe though it's even close. It shouldn't be.
And you know what? Gut check. I keep getting that a lot of these calls are premature.
Yeah.
And that when they actually finish the count, we're going to see quite a few states that are going to flip. Because then the rest of the votes are going to come in and they're going to say, oh, well, actually, he didn't win that state. She did. So
I could see Texas and Florida having some cheating going on there too.
I am going to change rooms. I'm going to go downstairs.
Okay.
So I'll carry my computer with me. So you all just continue to do what you're doing. And
computer will travel.
I'm sorry?
Have computer will travel.
I couldn't hear you.
Have computer will travel.
That's right.
All right. Turn up your hearing aids.
You'll see things go dark, but just bear with me, everybody. I'm going to turn the lights out.
It's like the end of...
I'm gonna pause this, and I'm gonna go run and get me a glass of wine.
Here, I can take you guys off the screen and put you back on when you come back.
Oh, okay. I can just hit stop camera.
Okay.
Couldn't I? Like if I hit that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I'll pop back on.
Oh, good. We can talk about Mel and Deanne behind their back.
I can hear you. I can hear you, Arthur.
I can hear you.
Aiden, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Yes,
so
you
much.
are.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
very
I
much.
wasn't even sure if I'd be able to make it tonight, but I'm glad. I'm glad I'm like keeping all the statistics.
Yes.
Aiden is keeper of the math.
Well, sometimes, most of the time.
No,
Sometimes I'm very wrong.
Keeper of the map. With a P.
Aiden is our miracle child. We all love him.
Aiden is you'll hear my voice, but you're not going to see me too well.
Yes, you're in the dark.
I'm always in
You
the
turn the
dark.
light off.
Good point.
We'll start
Thank
seeing
you,
me in
guys.
my shadow.
If you guys don't know who I am, you're like, why is this like young 7-year-old?
I like what
on the
Darren
screen?
Star says. Where is it? Wait, I'm gonna pop it up here. I like what Darren Star says. We need to keep our energy concentrated on a positive outcome. It's still early. Counts may change, and Texas definitely has an A.G. Paxton who loses ballots and then brags about it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Texas vote, y'all can hear my voice. Texas vote, I don't really give much credence to anyway, because the way Paxton counts votes and how he threw out votes. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these mainstream news organizations, y'all got to remember, they've all been bought out by hard right, extreme conservatives.
I wonder how many people are watching Prime Video tonight with the guy from NBC. Because Jeff Bezos owns them, and
Yeah,
we'll see.
that's the biggest problem that we have right now with our news is it's
Skewed.
It's very skewed. The owners, people who own it, are all extreme right wing, and they're all in it to keep their tax breaks and whatnot.
Okay, I'm downstairs now. Donald Trump is projected winner of Montana. Georgia is still too close to call because all the votes, it's only a difference of 205,000 votes. So, too close to call. Pennsylvania, too close to call. But it looks like Kamala's leading. Wisconsin, Kamala, it's really close. She's still ahead. Let's see, Michigan, too close to call. North Carolina is Trump. Arizona, Kamala Harris, too early to call, but she's leading, I think, if I'm not mistaken here. Let's see. I'm just watching on TV. Let's take a look. Senate Montana, John Tester, Tim Sherry, too early to call. Wow. Nevada, Jackie Rosen and Sam Brown, too early to call.
Yeah, because right now they're only getting all of the rural votes or the people that showed up to actually vote. In just about every state for early voting, you heard of lines being down the streets and around the corners. And
Kirsten Gillibrand in New York is projected winner.
Yay.
So, okay. Here we are. I'm sorry, I changed rooms and I got some ginger ale.
And like I said, a lot of these, the big urban areas in these states that have been called red have not all been counted yet. So, in a lot of these states, you haven't had the mail-in ballots haven't been counted yet.
It says
So there's a real good chance we could see some states get flipped tomorrow or the next day.
22 uncalled seats in the Senate. 22 and 34.
Yeah, it looks like the GOP is only 3 seats away in the Senate from, getting half of the seats.
Okay.
Polls haven't closed on the West Coast.
Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, too close to call. Delaware projected winner is Kamala Harris. So I'm watching here, you all. I've got my cell phone going. I've got the TV going.
Yeah.
District of Columbia is projected winner is Kamala Harris. That's 3 votes. So I'm sorry, that's 3 electoral votes. So we don't know how many, who's got what now. Donald Trump is the projected winner of Florida. But then
He's cheating on them.
won Florida in 2020, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Trump has been bumped up to 198 electoral votes. So it's still 99 to 198, but a lot of the Democratic states have not been called yet. So
Right.
Yep.
The biggies.
Amy Warrior Princess says, I know for a fact Michigan counts mail-in ballots last. So that's what happened last time. You know, he was ahead at first, and then he called it that actually we did win. And then all the mail-in ballots came, and he said there was big dumps, you know, big mail-in. So I got a feeling that he may want to try to do that again.
Oh, of course he is.
Of course it is.
But like I said, it's a lot of the states is just like my state. They don't count the mail-in ballots until after the people who showed up to vote in person is all counted and tallied, and then they go to the mail-in ballots.
Yeah, I think the mail-in ballots they count in last. I don't know how. I'm sure a lot of them are probably already counted, but we'll see. But this is so.
It looks like Republican Larry Hogan is defeated in the Maryland Senate race.
Good.
That's what we said earlier. The woman one.
Oh, did y'all? I missed that one.
I wanted to, I think someone was asking me to finish my sentence. So I guess I'll finish it. So if you guys don't know who I am and you're like, why is a 7-year-old on my screen right now? I used to have a YouTube channel. I still kind of do. There's just no videos on it. So I started back in 2020, I think it was 2021 when I was a sophomore in college. Yeah. I'm a senior right now, but I used to do videos like that and I used to do collaborations. But, you know, school's so important and I've just been focusing on that. And I think once I'm out of school, I'll continue to do the YouTube channel. But yeah, that's probably why you don't see me as often because I haven't done a lot of YouTube recently.
Yeah. And he is so smart. He helps other readers with their channels with all the technical stuff that some of us older ones don't know.
Yeah, it's fun for me. It's fun to help everybody that needs help, and I'll probably be doing it for a lot more years to come.
Gunnar said Gilbert won.
I know. I just saw that. I'm shocked because I did not see that.
I didn't think she'd win at all. I'm that one. They say she won.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In 2020, I'm looking at the map. Okay, and Biden did win Georgia and Virginia. But other than that, the map pretty much looks like it looks tonight.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying.
With the exception of Virginia and Georgia, but we don't know about Georgia yet.
Correct.
That's right.
So there you have it.
And let me just reiterate something.
In Georgia is 16 electoral votes.
Yeah, the New York Times, which someone was reading from earlier, it does say that Trump has a 75% chance of victory. But I don't know if that statistic is right. But I'm just little old me. Who knows? So, yeah.
Somebody have a TV on?
Can you hear me?
It's my brother singing in the other room.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys hear my TV?
No, you're fine. No, you're like the guy on Ed Sullivan show with the sticks and the plates, everything going at one time.
I do. It's my ADD. I'm good at this. It's funny. I looked at the map. This is so reminiscent of last year at this time because
Yes,
Trump
Yeah.
ahead.
2020.
Oh, somebody just wrote something here that Bobart won her county, not the state.
Oh, okay, good. I just was going by what somebody had said in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we all felt the same way in 2020.
Yeah,
Everybody was
everybody
sick to their
was.
stomach. And I don't understand too how some of them can call so soon when it takes time to count the mail-in ballots. They couldn't all possibly have counted them, could they? I mean, how does some call so early?
Because they're just
there's
going
the
by
other
what
thing.
was done that day. They're
But it
not
still can
going
change,
by.
right?
Yeah.
Hi, Connie B.
I got to step out for one moment.
Looks like we just hit 2,000 viewers. So welcome to our little get together we're having.
Okay, so at the last election, Trump had 232 electoral votes. Biden had 306. Okay. The only two states that Trump is leading right now will be Virginia and Georgia. But, who took New Mexico this time? Do we know?
New Mexico hadn't been called yet.
Okay.
It looks like it's leaning more towards Trump, but it's not even 25% of the way done.
Okay.
But if I remember correctly, it always looks like that.
Right. So, I mean, here is how it looked in 2020.
Okay.
So the only two differences would be New Mexico, Virginia, and Georgia. But we don't know yet because the Georgia vote's not in yet. So
Okay, Harris just got bumped up from 99 to 109, and that was from Colorado.
okay, so she's got
Yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay. So did Arthur leave us, or?
No, he'll
He
be
might have
back.
just stepped out to go to the restroom, or there he is.
Go
Oh,
walk
yeah.
it off. Yeah.
I had to go get a peppermint patty for my migraine.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the same way as it was before. It's going to look like it's going
Yeah.
one way, and then mail-ins are going to come in, and it's going to change.
And
And
again,
then he's going to cry foul.
this is the same thing like last time when he said I was ahead, and then he put in all the fake votes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been claiming election fraud for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, 2 years.
I mean, it's
True.
almost identical, like I keep saying, with the exception of Virginia and Georgia. But here again, okay, here. Arizona, Harris is leading. I'm watching Steve Kornacki just a moment. So let's see. She's 50.7% of the vote, and Trump is 48.5% of the vote. And this, I'm sorry, this is Maricopa County in Arizona. It's not the state,
Yeah.
it's the county. I apologize.
That's where the state capital is, and it's very red.
Well, she's ahead in Maricopa County. So
That's a big plus then.
NBC News projects Harris wins Colorado. So she's projected to win Colorado. So, okay, so I don't know how many electoral votes Colorado happens to be.
That was when I just told you it was from 99 to 109. So
I
she
got
just
it.
won 10 votes from Colorado.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see this year's map. 2024 election map.
Someone asked if Colorado won Biden last time, and yes, Colorado was blue in 2020.
How about Utah?
Utah was red.
Okay.
Utah's always been red. You got all the Mormons there.
Yeah.
It's still showing in Arizona, New Mexico. Well, the last time around, let me go back to 2020. Oops, sorry about that. Biden won New Mexico. But it looks like Kamala is still, and New Mexico hasn't been turned in yet. Pennsylvania, statewide, too close to call, but it looks like Trump might be leading in Pennsylvania, but not everything's in yet. Let me just check something. I'll be right back, you all.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Arthur, somebody said that Elaine Tanner said, Arthur, a peppermint patty works for a migraine.
That's why I took it.
Oh, is that what you have? Peppermint patties?
I've always said peppermint patties in the freezer. Yeah.
Oh, I love them in the freezer, just like the mint Girl Scout cookies.
And also the Captain Morgan. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, you got to keep Captain Morgan in the freezer.
Do you remember Louis Anderson, the comic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would never forget the time he was telling a joke once when he was on OptiFast, trying to lose weight, and he said he was getting dizzy, and the doorbell rang. He opened it up, and there was a Girl Scout. And he looked at her and said, "You just won the trip.
You just won the trip.
Your whole troop just won the trip. He bought them all. You just won the trip."
Looks like Arizona is now leaning heavily blue.
Oh, good.
They had one little girl who was selling Girl Scout cookies who set up her booth or her little thing next to a marijuana dispenser.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
I said, that's one smart little girl.
Yep.
I bet she made out good, too.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
I
was
don't know
watching.
what you're talking about.
I'm back. Anyway, I was just checking out things there. Multitasking.
Ron says he wishes he had a shit ton of chocolate right now.
Yeah, right now Arizona looks like it could go either way, but right now Harris is leading by a very small margin.
Okay.
Remember, people, it's not over until the fat lady sings. I'm not making. That's an old opera joke. I'm not making fun of Gnostic women.
Or someone strangles her, whichever comes first.
Let me check the map here. Okay, let me take a look. I mean,
Lisa Foster.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lisa Foster just said, well, they're saying the mail-in ballots have been counted. They can't be accounted for every place.
I'm sorry. Say again.
Oh, I was just looking at Lisa Foster's comments. She said that they're saying the mail-in ballots have been counted.
Jesus, they reelected Clay Higgins again.
They did?
Yeah, he's actually in my district.
I'm just looking here for Pennsylvania. Give me 1 second. It's just saying too early to call. So a lot of these states we can't even, Iowa, we don't know yet. So Kamala's leading in a lot of counties in Pennsylvania, but I just don't see they're just talking about, they're just talking about the counties and what's going on in Pennsylvania right now. The map still shows it in pink, but it could change.
What gets me is they always look at like Trump, his glass is half full. Kamala Harris's glass is half empty.
Let's see. I can tell. Give me 1 second.
Let's see.
Trump is only. Oh, that's in the county. Okay.
They're saying now that it looks like Kamala's going to take Wisconsin.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Georgia,
I
it
mean,
looks like
that's
Trump 51%, she's 47. Pennsylvania right now, it says Trump has, there's a difference of, no, I'm sorry, it's just the county. Um, looks like he might be leading. Well, actually, Powell is, hold on.
I also want to say we were talking about this earlier, but I was watching a lot of channels before today, and a lot of them, they have their opinions, right? And sometimes we're gonna be wrong, and that doesn't deserve any like hatred or attacks. There's already enough attacks coming from the MAGA people, so a lot of
Yeah.
these readers on here are doing this out of the kindness of their heart, and if that's met with attacks from people that are not even Republicans, that could really affect some of people's mental health, and you really have to take that into consideration before you leave nasty comments to a lot of people on YouTube. Okay, that's all.
looks like they have New Mexico and Arizona now leaning blue towards Harris.
I'm sorry, what were you guys saying? I was watching TV. I certainly apologize. What was going on, Aiden?
Oh, nothing. I was just ranting about people.
No,
Basically, to be kind.
Yeah.
please say that again. No, I think it's
Okay.
Yeah, it's very important.
So I was saying, I was watching a lot of readers on YouTube, and they were all coming to their own conclusions and different opinions. And I think it's important that if someone is wrong or says the wrong thing prior to today, it's important for all of the people that support Harris not to go leave nasty comments and mean comments on their favorite reader's page if they got something wrong, because there's enough hate already coming from the MAGA Republicans, and coupled up with hate from people that are upset at the readers, that can really impact some of the people's mental health that do this out of the kindness of their hearts for a lot of the people that are watching. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Here, I like this. It says, not to direct the stress and anger toward the readers. It's not our fault, Here,
And even when we call something wrong, it's just because that's what the energy is telling us in that moment. And there is free will. And so the energy changes.
And there are times I'm happy to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
Yes.
I agree. I totally agree that there. Okay, Iowa. Oh, Trump is projected winner in Iowa.
That's surprising, especially after the polls.
Yeah.
Well, you just can't. You cannot.
I know. I don't.
You
rely on-
cannot follow what polls say necessarily.
Yeah, and Iowa only has about 44% of the votes counted, and it looks, like that could maybe change. I don't know.
Well, there was a poll that a woman that did everybody respects her as a pollster had been accurate since 2004, and she said Harris would be up by 3. So that's all I'm saying. But again, not all the votes are in.
And looks like Washington D.C. just confirmed Harris.
Just went blue. Yep.
Yep.
Just
So
went
Yes,
to Harris.
all right.
And now Virginia is leaning blue.
Trump
Yeah.
won in Iowa. Trump won in Iowa in 2020. So that doesn't surprise me much. It really doesn't.
Exactly.
Let me look at the 2020 map again. Give me 1 second.
But yeah, one thing, Cruz is probably going to, be the governor of Texas, by the way.
The governor?
Or whatever he is. Whatever he's running for.
Senator.
Senator. I don't
He's
know.
a senator. Yeah.
But that's what the
Well, at least until the.
Well, I
Supreme
said
Court.
earlier he may look like he's there, but he's going to get kicked out.
You're probably in Cancun.
Peggy said 45 won Iowa.
I'm sorry.
so-
Say again.
Peggy said 45 won Iowa, and Donna O'Brien says Cruz won.
Projected winner. It's not for sure until every vote is counted.
So
Right.
I'm looking back in 2020, and Trump won Iowa.
Okay.
So
You see, I still have Iowa is just leaning right, not winning it, according to the map I'm looking at.
this is 2020. So, you know,
God help us.
the only difference I see here is really Virginia and Georgia, but I'm not looking at the current map. So let me map.
Virginia is leaning blue. Georgia, they say, is leaning red.
Okay.
Arizona and New Mexico are now both leaning blue.
Which maps do you guys have?
I'm looking at the AP Press.
Okay, AP Press.
APnews.com.
Let's take a look. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. So Missouri. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Virginia is leaning blue right now.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was leaning red. They
It
just
looks like-
switched that.
But Georgia hasn't switched.
No, it just like Maryland, New Mexico, and Arizona were both leaning red, and now they're both leaning blue.
Let me just check something from 2022. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry, you all. I'm trying to do a million things here. So,
Yeah, take your time.
The plates and the sticks. I still feel Harris is winning, just to let you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
I
I
do
just
too.
think it's going to be closer than we were hoping it'd be, but I think there's cheating. I think there's cheating involved too.
Yeah.
Texas and Florida.
Well, we knew that going into it.
Yeah.
You know, they've been purging legitimate voters left and right. They've been pulling all kind of stunts. They've been going to the courts ahead of time, trying to disallow this, that, or the other. And it just depends on if the judges that they're going before were right leaning or left leaning.
I was wrong about Ted Cruz. I didn't think he'd be reelected, but he was. So,
Well,
I don't get
if he gets it, he's not going to stay.
Cancun. Yeah, Cancun Cruz. He bolted on them, twice when they needed him when they were having disasters. I can't believe they voted for him again.
well,
I don't think they did.
It all depends on how Paxson counted the votes, and I'm sure that Trump had something up his sleeve to take Texas, and probably Cruz did too.
What do you think this little secret he was talking about he had with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson? He said, we have a little secret, we'll tell you when the election's over. Have any of you guys gotten
Well,
anything?
that's to not certify the votes and to switch out
That's what I
electors. Yeah.
That's exactly what I think too. That's exactly what I think. Not to certify the votes.
Yeah.
This is going to be
So
really.
low down.
Let's see, Sherry, you've got AP, right? Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it. So yeah, Virginia switched.
There definitely is something fishy going on.
I've got my eye on Pennsylvania. That's where I'm keeping my watch.
Sandra says, I think they're doing their little secret right now.
Well, because just a couple of weeks ago, when early voting started in a lot of states, they were having people who were filing complaints that they would push one button for, say, Kamala Harris, and then it would show up as Trump.
Mhm.
And they would go back and reset it and do it again, and it would show up all the Republicans, and they'd have to stop and take it out and go to them and say, hey, the machine is not showing the buttons that I'm pushing. It's showing the opposite. And they had to pull several machines to, I don't remember now what state that was in.
Hmm. Yes, Connie B. Let's
And
start
yeah,
praying
it just,
instead of being anxious. Everybody pray. Everybody send prayers.
yeah, I just have a hard time believing that it's going that heavily red when everything, not even counting the psychic, what we were getting, but just everything was leaning so far blue with the turnouts and the talks and the people talking about, what they were feeling. It just feels like they've got some, either they're not counting all the votes or
Well, didn't they in
some other
2020
shenanigans.
in Texas? Wasn't there a governor or somebody who was bragging about, was it Paxton, who said he took
Yeah,
those votes
Paxton.
and he helped Trump, you know,
Yeah, because he held back like
or
200,
260?
300,000 votes, something like that.
The
Right.
New York wouldn't win.
I'm sure that, in Texas with Cruz winning, there had to be something that that wasn't right going on.
I mean, how are you the most hated man in the Senate and nobody likes you? Nobody wants you in that position, but yet you win, hands down, no issues. I just
Well, I think
have a hard time with that.
Whoa.
I think with the last election in 2020, because Donald Trump was so far ahead, and then Biden ended up winning. That's when he was like, "What?" And I think it kind of looks like that's what's happening now.
AP just announced that Josh Hawley has won his Senate race.
Unreal.
Wow.
I feel like Kamala needs to ask for a recount or needs to be, that
Well,
just seems strange.
And that might be the case where there are some states that, maybe it's not the Republicans that are suing, it may be the Democrats. So
It may be the Democrats this go around because it's just, like I said, just going with the momentum where the energy was, where people were talking, the just all the people that were showing up for her and the Democratic candidates as opposed to the Republican candidates. It's like you don't get everybody that hyped and that much on this side to election day. Suddenly they all flip to the other side. That doesn't happen.
So how many seats do we have in the Senate?
Oh, let me see if it shows this.
What did Lily ask? How did Trump win in Georgia? Trump hasn't won in Georgia yet. It's too close to call.
Yeah, see, right now they're showing that the Senate has 48 Republicans, 36 Democrats. And that in the House, there's 134 Republicans and only 89 Democrats. Yeah, no. There's something really, really screwy about these numbers.
Yeah. I feel like there is going to be found some cheating has happened.
Oh, this is more than just cheating. This is blatant fraud all the way out.
He said he was putting some of his people in there as poll workers in a lot of those places. And,
Yeah.
they were telling their people to vote, 2 times, 3 times, which is illegal. So he don't care if they go to jail, long as they don't get. I don't know. Something's fishy.
Yeah, I thought we'd take over the House and Senate. So,
I still feel like we're going to take over the House and Senate, but it just, like I said, with
Yeah, but
when you
those
look at where all of the energy was, where all of the momentum was, and then suddenly everybody's done this extreme hard flip to the right, I just don't see that happening.
but those seats
It
that
doesn't make sense.
But those seats in the Senate that you're talking about, like Ted Cruz, and there were a few more, um, those were already seats that were held by Republicans, correct?
Right,
Okay,
right.
so we really didn't lose anything.
No,
We didn't
no.
lose any seats. In fact, it looks like we gained some seats. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know, but
I don't know yet. That there's still
I mean, Ted Cruz, that comes as a surprise to me.
no,
I
I'm
mean, like I said, it just
Josh
there's something
Hawley.
rotten in Denmark. Yeah, there's just something rotten in Denmark.
Josh
So
Hawley comes as a surprise to me, but but here again, they had seats, so that's not a loss for the Dems because Republicans held those seats anyway. It is a loss for the Dems, but we didn't lose any seats. Is my point, right?
right.
Okay,
No,
you're
we
right.
just it's just I
They didn't
just
keep any
have
seats.
my my intuition, that gut punch feeling is something's rotten in Denmark, because you don't get all of that energy, all of that momentum on one side, to on election day everybody takes a hard flip to the right. I don't see that happening.
Harris
And
is leading in Maine, so it looks like she's going to take Maine, I think. Pennsylvania, let me check. Hold on. Oh, they keep changing it. Every time I get up to look at it, they change it.
yeah,
Uh, how many electoral votes is Pennsylvania?
19?
19.
Pennsylvania is 19.
Got it. And Trump has how many?
198, they're saying.
And you had to have how many win 270?
Yes.
Yeah,
And Pennsylvania has how many votes?
19.
Also, it looks like New Hampshire
Mhm.
just elected a Republican governor, Kelly Ayotte. I don't know if that's different from what's been happening there.
New Hampshire did?
New Hampshire,
That's only
Republican
4 votes, though.
Kelly Ayotte.
Yeah, their governor.
Who's winning New Hampshire for president?
It's got it leaning blue.
Looks like Harris, yeah.
Well, Trump, we know, would win Nebraska, so that doesn't surprise me any.
I was getting their cheating in Texas.
Eugene Bidman
absolutely.
Monday?
Here, it says from Iowa, sick, we were ahead, and then boom, he wins. Why and how? Well, people are saying it's an awful night, but it's not over yet. So let's just hope.
No, it's not. And final counts have not been done. Mail-in ballots have not been done.
This is exactly what happened in 2020
It
when
sure
Biden won.
is. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I didn't think they would be brazen enough to try flipping votes to this degree.
And I think this has been such a patriarchal country for so long. There are a lot of men that just do not want to see a woman in power.
There's a lot more women voting than men.
But yeah, the women are going to, help Kamala, but there are a lot of men. But I just feel she's still going to win this.
Let's all do collectively, let's all breathe in. Let's do it together. Ready? We're going to breathe in on 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and breathe out.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you, Grasshopper.
I'm not throwing in the towel yet. I'm just
No.
no way.
Mm-mm.
They say Trump is doing better than in 2020. Slightly, yes, and that's frightening. But um, New York. Well, Kamala won New York big
See,
time.
that's just
But I was going to say. So I lost my thought. I was going to say.
Good news. It looks like in New Mexico, Martin Heinrich is a Democrat, and he just won the Senate. In New Mexico.
Yay!
good. Good.
We don't know Arizona yet, but my map it shows trending. It shows pink, so we don't know yet, right?
Yeah, it was showing blue, but now it's showing pink. So it's going to go county to county.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Virginia turned, Wisconsin, we still don't have that in yet.
Mm-mm.
Ohio,
And now it's showing leaning right when it was showing leaning blue. So they're flipping back and forth on the map here.
right. So we knew that, but he's got 204, and Harris has 112. So
Harris needs Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania.
Georgia, we don't know. North Carolina, let me take a look here. North Carolina, you said?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm looking for North Carolina here. North Carolina, I don't know. That's trending red. But she needs, what does she need? I'm sorry, did you say, Deanne?
Crystal444 said they're saying if Trump wins Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, he's got the 270.
Right.
So she needs to win Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, or at least she needs to win a couple of those. Michigan, I think she's got.
AP Press
Or
just
she needs-
called. Oh,
I'm sorry. Say again.
AP Press just called Kansas for Trump.
Okay, well, that's no surprise. So Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Michigan, did you say?
No, it was, what did she say?
Michigan isn't called yet.
North Carolina, I find it again. I lost it. Let's see. I can't remember.
Okay, that's all right.
I'm sorry, I lost it.
No problem. We're not throwing in the towel yet.
Mm-mm. Not even.
Oh, here we go. Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Those are what he has to win to get to 270. And somebody down here said, don't they need 300 and something?
No, 270 to win.
270. So that's what he needs to get to 270.
And if she wins Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, then she has it.
Yeah, it's coming down to the battleground states, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It always does.
It always does. Anyway. Well, you all, do you think we should say goodnight and just see how this plays out?
Yep. And I am planning on her win. Tomorrow is my 60th birthday, and I am having a celebration for her winning. So
there you go.
Happy
that
birthday.
is what I asked for my birthday. That's all I want, and I'm going to get it. I'm praying my heart out tonight.
Well, happy birthday. You know what they call that? They call that the triple 20.
Triple 20, I like that better. It makes
Yeah.
me sound younger.
Oh, good.
Aiden, thank you for
I
doing
just drew the Ace of Wands for a collective, so that's new beginnings, new start.
Okay.
Well, looks like we're
I
going
still
to.
feel she's going to get it. Be close, but she's going to get it.
All right. Well, Arthur, next week, your channel, right?
If I'm still here, yes.
You're not going anywhere.
If we're not all running for the border.
Are we doing Monday with you, Sherry?
Next Monday with me is
And Aiden, when are we gonna do a collab together?
I would like to. We'll have to figure out a day.
Yeah.
Wednesdays and Fridays. I have a class I go to on Wednesday, and Friday I do my paranormal. But any other day you want to do, we can do.
Yeah, Monday's our day.
Aiden, is that
The
okay?
11th. So
For what?
When we can do a collab?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I'd love to do a collaboration with any of you.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess this is it for tonight, guys. We're
the faith.
praying for the best outcome, and
Well,
Yeah.
from Psychic Election Central, I bet
And you realize, I'm going to interrupt you, but you realize CNN, all the big places, they have a staff of 100 doing what we just did.
yeah, we did it in 3 hours. So
I wasn't much help to that. Sorry, guys.
And
I
we
didn't
did
know
it-
what you were looking at. So you were
And we-
handling it well.
we did it for free, where they're paying their people way too much money.
well, should we say our goodbyes to the people out there watching?
Okay.
I want to
Yes,
thank all the
thank you,
election.
everyone.
I want to thank all the election poll workers, Democrats and Republicans, for your
Yes.
what you've done for our country and working the polls. It's I can't thank you enough. For people who have Harris signs up, keep them up. I wouldn't be intimidated with threats of
No.
violence. And
she's not going to concede until every vote is
remember,
counted.
this too shall pass. So
Mhm.
we've gone through rougher
Exactly.
things, and if Trump wins, we'll get through that too. I'm not saying
But we expected this. I don't know why I feel so disappointed right now when we were all expecting this,
Well,
that it was going to look this way tonight.
It's just hard because we know what's at stake and we know how important it is.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm just looking. It's not even 8 o'clock here in California. So,
right.
Yeah.
True.
All right. Thank you,
you, Mel.
everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
And
It was nice
no
seeing
na-
you guys.
And
Good night,
please
John Boy.
hold on. And please, in the comments, no nasty remarks because they will be removed.
Yes, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Have sweet
night.
Good
dreams.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.